What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new video. It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, certainly coming through for a brand new episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news, going live over on our YouTube page, as well as over on our Facebook page today, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. A different time schedule than I certainly know that we're used to. Maybe we've thrown some of you guys are off that are usually used to us coming on at noon, but it is, in fact, football season, ladies and gentlemen. Football season starts this upcoming Thursday, and then of course our first set of games on Sunday. So we wanted to get ahead of the schedule and the timing of the football games and start dropping these episodes at least at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly feel free to start joining us for our new time here, at least during football season, and then we will go ahead and transition back over to noon after the football season is certainly over. But we definitely got a ton of topics for you guys today, some really fun ones that I think we're going to certainly enjoy talking about. 10 topics, and 10 topics, 6 topics. Damn, I'm not trying to keep you guys here all day. 6 topics, and then of course some honorable mentions for you guys as well. Some topics that maybe didn't quite make the cut, but we definitely want you guys to certainly know about it today. So I certainly hope everybody is doing fantastically well this Sunday. Kick back, relax. Hopefully you have your cup of coffee. I know we're probably going to have to inject Stuart with some caffeine here today for sure, but it should certainly be a fantastic episode. Speaking of which, we got the whole entire crew involved today. What's going on, fellas? Good to see everybody. How's everybody's familiar face? He's got his gummy bears ready to go over there. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Gotta get that sugar intake early in the morning. I mean,
yeah, I gotta do something. Y'all saw what happened to me. I was up like at 2 o'clock in the morning watching Hills.
Goodness, man, goodness, around the clock. All of your shows come on like Saturday evening or something, or playing catch up, or what?
No, they all not supposed to premiere until like Sunday night, but because I have a DirecTV stream and it has the Stars package on it, that everything just posts on demand at 2 o'clock in the morning. So
damn, so you literally wait to watch it, huh?
Yeah, I took a nap.
You don't believe in sleeping, and then okay, so you take a nap to prep to wake up at 2 a.m.
No, we want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, our viewers get their content as early as possible. So if I could play spoiler and possibly get to the point where I can get it up before the show comes on, so in case you don't want to stay up.
That's what you're aiming for. Okay, I like it. I appreciate the initiative, man. Yeah, I appreciate the initiative. What's up, Stuart? How you been, man? I know it's over on the West Coast. What is it, 9 a.m. over there? I know it's brutal, man. I'm sorry about this.
All good. Yeah, no, I've been doing all right this week. I almost got fired from work one day, but no.
Did you strangle a customer almost, or what happened?
Yeah, so like it's one of those things where it was a kind of like, so it was one of those things where it was because it was a couple. I feel like that's what actually kind of saved me, is because the trick is, as long as one of them laughs, then you're in the clear. Because what ended up happening is it was a guy with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was a complete Karen, and it was just on a day that I won't go into full details, but I was just not having a good day that day, and so she started kind of complaining to me about one thing and then another. And what it kind of came down to, like towards the end of it, is like I had asked her to put a mask on, and that really irritated her. And she had asked about where she could get popcorn. I told her the line for the concession is this way, but you do have to have your vaccination card. And, you know, it was like a mixture of those two things. And she started just kind of like losing it. And so I just looked at her boyfriend after that, and I just like, honey, in the most flamboyant voice I could possibly do, I'm just like, honey, you could do so much better. And so she was pissed. Like, I could see she was about to lose it, but he laughed, and that was enough to get her to like not do anything. So it was just kind of that moment of huge relief I just felt, because immediately I thought, oh crap, I'm totally fired now. But then him laughing, I feel like that's what saved me.
Karens beware. Don't get on Stuart's bad side. Oh my God.
I don't even think it's just that. I think you saved him, because he was probably in trouble on the whole ride there, and you took all the heat off of him.
Yeah.
Maybe that too.
Probably. She might have been mad at him for even laughing in the first place. Why are you laughing at that? Probably slapped him in the movie theater or something.
No, he's probably saying, I got my vaccination card.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm glad you still have a job, Stuart. I'm glad you certainly still have a job, man. But it's good to see everybody here today, man. I know it's a changing of pace here. I do have an honorable mention I want to go ahead and knock out for you guys. Definitely some big news. I have not told Stuart or Indy this yet. So this is very much sort of brand new information for everybody. I don't have anything on my finger, man. I'm sorry.
She would.
But no, I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement today for some people, especially live for some of our viewers, especially for you two also. I was wondering when this day was definitely going to come, but guys, I'm going to be a daddy.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Little Yoda onesie, little baby Yoda onesie. Little Darth Vader onesie also. I think we got a Stormtrooper onesie as well. So yeah, she's we've known for a while now. We've known for quite some time, but we haven't really made any big announcements yet on social media. We've just been mostly just the immediate family and stuff like that. We've been talking and going to doctor's appointments and things like that, ultrasounds and whatnot. So yeah, no, we're gonna have a baby. Me and Cindy, we are. She's I think she's like literally at 24 weeks right now, so she's about to be entering her third trimester here. We're gonna be having a baby boy also, which is fantastic. I'm really super nervous and super excited all at the same time. But yeah, man, I've always wanted a family. The idea that I'm 38, about to be 39 this year, finally starting mine. I didn't even know my mom was going to be in here. Yeah, so my mom knows. This isn't how I broke the news to my mom, I promise you. We actually told her way back on Mother's Day in regards to it. So yeah, man, we were super happy, super nervous, super excited. All the feelings that you get of realizing you're about to be a parent when you least expect it. You know what I mean?
I need my soundboard.
That's so cool.
I need the applause.
So yeah.
Oh man, I will send her antacid because she is gonna have horrible heartburn with all the hair you guys have.
Oh yeah, I'm sure our baby's gonna have curls just immediately once it pops out. I fully expect a full set of hair. But yeah, she's already getting like some carpal tunnel in her wrist and things like that. Some back problems or whatnot. So we're trying to push through, man. I figure we got what 3 months left, maybe a little bit over 3 months left. Hopefully, as long as we have a healthy child, that's all we really care about. But yeah, man, I wanted to go ahead and share that news with you fellas. So yeah,
congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
I'm joining the club. You know what I mean? I see Indy out here with the little kids and playing, little children on our show and things like that. So I'm like, you know what? I need to jump into this club too, Indy. You inspired me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
don't do that because you can have mine.
No, I'm good. But no, it should be super fun, man. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted and let you guys know everything else that happens from here on out. If anything, I believe we're probably gonna make an even bigger announcement on Facebook this weekend too. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you fellas. But all right, now that we've gotten my little bit of a celebration out of the way with some of my fantastic news, I guess we should get into some of the honorable mentions real quick. Fellas, do you have any? Yeah, do you have any honorable mentions outside of that?
I do have one. It's nothing like big in terms of news, but it's just like really funny. For a while, from the Far From Home trailer, everyone's been thinking that the scene that takes place in the police precinct, where you have a dude with just like a white shirt and tie, everyone has been speculating that might be Matthew Murdock. Well, we finally have confirmation that it is definitely not Charlie Cox, in the suit and tie, because we had this behind the scenes photo that was taken, and basically it was because it was basically showed the entire shot of the scene before they add like the bars in, if that makes sense. So it shows that when you look at it on the monitor before like they crop it out, you can actually see the face of the actor, and it is very clearly not Charlie Cox. So anyone who is getting their hopes up for that scene in particular, now I'm not saying he's not in the movie. The actor himself even made sure not to say he wasn't going to be in the movie, but he did make it clear that he was not in the trailer. So just to let all you Spider-Man fans know that don't get your hopes too high up for Matthew Murdock's cameo, because it might not actually happen.
I will say this. I remember being on Twitter when I did see somebody post the photo from that shot of the trailer, and they're like, "Is this Charlie Cox's arms?" I'm like, "Really, guys? Are we really deciphering somebody's arm hair as to whether or not like that's the actual actor itself? Like, have we really gotten that low as a fan base that we really have to like decipher like some Da Vinci Code on this man's arm to be like, that looks like Charlie Cox to me?" So I'm really glad that this is settled, honestly. But you know, listen, I mean, I guess I can't harp on it. It's not like we haven't really like paused on screens and like looked at stuff carefully enough to try and figure things out. So I definitely get it, but it just makes me laugh that that's what we've come to. Congrats. Hopefully the baby has the mom's hair. Well, Cindy's hair is just as curly as mine. Trust me. When you guys get to see her, she's got a full set of curly hair also. So it's going to happen regardless. Our baby's definitely going to have some wild ass hair. But great one, Stuart. Thank you very much for breaking that news for us. So guys, the arm hair is not Charlie Cox's. Relax. He could possibly still be in this movie. We'll definitely see. Indy, do you think Charlie Cox pops up in here?
I'm thinking it could be a bait and switch. I'm thinking that could be a stand-in for him or something where he walks in right after that scene. That I feel like they want you to think it's him, just so.
Those might be like the was it like the prosecutors? You know, like putting all the files on there and giving them a hard time, sort of thing, and then maybe in walks Matthew Martin. Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah, like I do agree. Regardless, Sony did know that people were going to speculate that might have been Charlie Cox. So I'm just going to point that out there. I do think the scene was filmed mysteriously like that on purpose.
On purpose.
Nothing's ever an accident when it comes to Marvel trailers.
It's true. For me, it's going to be who sent Matthew Murdock to defend. You know what I'm saying, Peter Parker. Like, or did he just show up because of the hoopla and say, "I got to go save this kid"? You know what I'm saying? To say the word, that's the part of the story that I want to know.
I can see that just out of the goodness of Matthew's heart. I can see that just based off of the Netflix series. What about you, Indy? You have an honorable mention this week at all?
Yes, I do. For those who don't know, Netflix is doing a live action One Piece series. And they actually revealed the first title. Now, normally this wouldn't be something that's big. There's over 1,000 episodes of One Piece, so this live action series could last forever. But
that's true.
But the big thing is that the title of the episode is going to be called Romance Dawn. Now, the big thing about Romance Dawn is it got tied in later to be like the first arc of the anime. It was a totally separate like manga anime at first. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until later that it got tied in and brought into canon. So that's pretty interesting that they took that to make it the first episode, which actually is going to show us, you know what I'm saying, pre Luffy D and everything we see, what goes on to build to the story that we know now. So I thought that was pretty interesting that they were taking that route.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. To be honest with you, I've never watched a single One Piece animated episode, but I will say everybody tells me about it all the time and tells me I should watch it. But I have attempted to, but I got to be honest, Indy, just the length of how many episodes this series has is super intimidating.
I'm only on I think I stopped at episode 600 maybe like 2 years ago. Like I got to the Food Island thing and stuff just got so over the top crazy that I was like, look, I got to take a break, and it's just one of them things where I never went back. So
I do want to check it out. I almost feel though, like, and maybe it's in blasphemous and in injustice, but the live action One Piece might actually be my first introduction into the series itself. Maybe if anything, it'll really push me to go ahead and check out the animated series. But I'm assuming this is the script you were talking about, right? The Romance Dawn.
And it's going to be interesting to me because the way they decided to do Kamala Khan's powers, how they decided to alter her powers to make them easier to use. Luffy is a very similar individual as far as characteristics go, abilities. So I'm curious to see how they're going to have them come across screen. And if they do it well, I'm like, well, they just could have kept Kamala Khan like she was in the comics.
I do hope Kamala Khan has her has some sort of her abilities left over. I mean, I'm assuming maybe they haven't given it to her because they feel like with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four coming, they want to have him have that type of ability and be unique on his own. I still think you could still have two characters with the same power sets, but you know, I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, I would think with One Piece, I think hopefully visually they certainly do nail it in regards to showcasing that type of ability. I think it'd be pretty cool to see.
It's definitely it's definitely going to be interesting because so like I didn't watch that much One Piece, but I watched a couple episodes, so I'm kind of curious how a show like that's going to work in live action, because it feels like a type of series meant to be animated.
Sometimes the animation doesn't work. You're like, there's no possible, that's just outlandish. So I'm really curious in how they're gonna tone it down to be able to do it, you know what I'm saying, in real life. The closest thing I've seen is what they did with the Bleach live action. Like, they actually got the powers and stuff, like, right, they made them look good transitioning to live action. I have no idea how you're gonna do this. No idea at all. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think you couldn't do a live action Dragon Ball because everything they tried was horrible. And then I saw Shang-Chi.
Yeah. Yeah. Then when I saw Shang-Chi, I'm like, anything is possible again. Yes. But yeah, if this is going to be a live action series on Netflix, I definitely will be checking it out. I mean, I feel like when it comes to their series, Netflix usually tends to do a pretty good job, a better job than usually maybe some of their original movies. So if this is a series itself, I think we got something pretty good on our hands. A couple other quick honorable mentions for you guys. We did get ourselves a brand new Venom 2 poster here. No new trailer as of yet. I believe they did push it back to October 15th. We'll see if they actually, or just, yeah, I believe it's October 15th. We'll see if they continue to keep that date or if they push it back any further, but we did get ourselves a brand new poster. I kind of dig this one. I think they've been coming out with some great posters and promotion just in general and marketing for this movie.
Yeah, they have. That's actually an incredible poster. Looking at it, they might have stole it from something. I feel like I've seen this layout before. Like, it's nothing new, but the way they did it is very, very cool. This is actually something that I will want to frame and put up.
I will say I do kind of miss the art of a movie poster. And the idea of you saying that this looks kind of familiar, because I feel like every movie poster these days just plasters faces on there and don't really maybe take too many super creative cues. Although the one that they did with Venom, where you got the mouth of Carnage opening up and then you've got Venom coming towards like he's about to fight. I absolutely love that sort of thing. But I do wish they would get more creative with some of their movie posters. What do you think, Stuart, in regards to this poster, though?
Yeah, in regards to it looking like a lot of other posters, that's because I feel like a lot of posters kind of have that same formula of, okay, put the biggest ones in the back and then put the lesser important ones in front, but make them like smaller. And then, just in the center of it where you have Carnage, that's usually where they show like a little bit of a fade in of the action. So yeah, it's like, I think a lot of posters look similar because they all follow a similar format like that. And yeah, I also do agree that I do kind of miss the hand painted movie posters that we used to get back in the day. But with that said, for what it is, I do think it's a pretty cool poster. I especially do like the side by side of both Venom and Carnage. I actually think that looks really cool in the back.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that does look pretty fresh. Let's see here. We also wind up getting ourselves a brand new poster and promotional poster for the upcoming CW show, Legends of the Hidden Temple, ladies and gentlemen. Put your applications in. Indy, did they call you back at all? Are you going to be on this season or next season at all? Do you know?
They haven't called me back. I might have too much of a little online presence. They seem like they want people who aren't trying to be famous. That's what it comes off to me when I'm putting in the application. But no, I definitely put it in. But my partner Syndrome put one in too, so hopefully he get called and he'll choose me as his teammate.
Nice. So yeah, October 10th will be on the CW, 7 p.m. Central Time. For those of you who don't know, this is a new version which will feature adult competitors, but retain many of the elements of the original game, according to some of the articles. It does say that the show will also move outside of a studio setting and onto a jungle set where members of the favorite teams, purple parrots, blue barracudas, orange iguanas, red jaguars. I was always a silver snakes guy myself, and green monkeys will take part in a series of physical and mental challenges scaled up for grown-up contestants. And then, of course, we're going to have Olmec, the giant Mayan head that still talks. If you guys were big fans of this show, like I certainly was growing up as a kid, who always used to point out all the time, I could do that shit. These little kids don't know what they're doing. Get out of here, kid. I could do this in a heartbeat. now you have your opportunity to go ahead and try and run the course yourself. So yeah, I think this would be pretty fun to go ahead and check back out. I feel like when we posted this on Facebook, this got so many reactions because I don't think many people were aware that Legends of the Hidden Temple was certainly coming back, but it should be fun.
No, I know when we were originally talking about it, like we were talking about between each other, like we should go be on it. Like everything, like how excited we were. And that's what it is. It's having something being nostalgic, but it not being forced on you, because the promo they've been doing for this has been light. They're not trying to force it down your throats, and they're going off of people who already know what this is. That's why I think they geared it towards adults instead of kids, because they know who's going to get into this type of stuff. Now, I'm paranoid because after I did it, I was like, okay, it's not going to be the same sets. Like, I know I could do that stuff them kids did, but I feel like this is going to turn into some American Ninja Warrior stuff. And I've watched
gladiators out here and shit.
I watched them break their faces trying to do some of the stuff that they do. So I'm not in pristine shape. You know what I'm saying? I would say like I'm the Iron Man of the crew. You know, just put me in a robot suit and I'm cool. I'm not running around doing athletic stuff like Captain America. But we'll see.
That's what they're gonna have you do, man. Some rock climbing, everything, bro. I just seen the idea of adults running the kids sets. That would be hilarious to me. But yeah, no, they're definitely upping the ante for you, Indy. So start doing them push-ups, man. That cardio. Know what I mean?
I feel like it's one of those things where I'd show up and I'd be like, dude, if I was in high school, I could do this easily. I can't anymore.
Most definitely.
Because I used to love Ninja Warrior and American Ninja Warrior, and I used to watch those both all the time in high school, and I would keep thinking to myself, I bet you like most of these, and I never tried to claim all of them, but I felt like most of these obstacles I could have not easily, but I definitely could have done back in high school when I was in like really good shape.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see, man. I'm be interested to see like what the new courses and things like that certainly are, what some of the mental challenges. So it should be fun. Let me watch episodes 1 or 2 first, and then I'll debate whether or not I want to go ahead and apply. Just to be like, I think I can do that. And then last but not least, guys, we wind up getting ourselves a new Doom Patrol, not only poster, but a season 3 trailer as well. Have you fellas had the opportunity to check it out?
Yes.
I haven't watched the trailer. I have seen the poster. I'm in awe of the poster, and I think that's what made me not want to watch the trailer, because I'm still 3 episodes from finishing season 2.
Definitely finish season 2 first, because the trailer has some spoilers in it.
Yeah, I think you'll love it, man. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that first. But I'm so excited for this. This upcoming season. So much, in fact, that they actually have a spinoff in the works based off of out of this particular season. I think it's like the Dead Boy Detectives or something like that. HBO's greenlit the idea of them having a spinoff, which we're going to be getting introduced to them here in Doom Patrol season 3 as well. I'm interested to see where the Candlemaker storyline winds up sort of wrapping up, especially trying to see how Crazy Jane winds up figuring out her particular situation with her other alter egos and things like that. But this looks off the wall, which I appreciate. Each and every time I watch a Doom Patrol trailer, I have no idea who half these characters are, honestly, but I'm here for it because this season has just really surprised me, or the show in general has really surprised me. When I went to go see Shang-Chi this weekend, I was talking to my friend Jonathan, and he was he was telling me that, he kind of gave up on DC television in general, sort of thing. And the 2 shows that I recommended that he certainly watch, Superman and Lois and Doom Patrol. I just thought, I was like, they'll just be right up your alley, because especially Doom Patrol 1 feels nothing like a DC television show at all. It's so original, and Superman and Lois have really just taken things up a notch in regards to its storytelling and effects. So yeah, those are the 2 that I certainly recommended. But yeah, man, season 3 looks great. What did you see out of this trailer, Stuart, that you really look forward to?
It looks incredibly bizarre, but like in the best kind of way when it comes to Doom Patrol. The thing that makes me so curious, though, because we got like a little bit of announcement before the trailer even came out about this, is that Timothy Dalton will not be, or that there was no filming with Timothy Dalton during this season. So I'm really curious how they wrote him out of the show, and it wasn't because like it wasn't because they like killed him off or anything, because he's still alive in the penultimate or in the last episode. So but what it ended up being was that Timothy Dalton did not want to be on set during COVID, just because it was either the fact that he was kind of like was worried because he had like a compromised immune system, or someone in his family did, but regardless, because of COVID, he did not feel comfortable going on to set. So it sounds like he's still going to be like a part of the show in season 4 when hopefully things get like more under control, but he's not going to be around for season 3. So I'm kind of curious how they ride around that.
Yeah, I will be interested to see how they wind up pulling that off, especially with his daughter, him having such an integral role in season 2. So yeah, we'll definitely have to see. I will also say this: the one person that popped out in this trailer to me, Michelle Gomez. For those of you who don't know, she played the Master in Doctor Who. She was on the HBO Max series, The Flight Attendant. She was also in the Netflix series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I love Michelle Gomez. So anytime that I feel like she's on screen or a part of any type of project, her character is always going to shine. She's such an incredible actress. So I definitely do think, and I just feel like just some of the work that she's brought, just her personality fits that of Doom Patrol and these characters so incredibly well. So I definitely look forward to seeing how she fits into this upcoming season. But it looks incredible, guys. If you've had the opportunity to check out the Doom Patrol season 3 trailer, go ahead and certainly let me know your thoughts. And I believe that winds up dropping September 23rd, I believe. So I think it's this month. So definitely look forward to that as well, guys. But other than that, I think that's all the honorable mentions for the day. You got something, Indy?
I got one more that you guys are probably not even gonna care about, to be totally honest with you. But a couple of days ago, Stephen Amell says Arrow return on HBO Max, Netflix, or even the CW would be amazing. As he talked about wanting to come back to possibly do a 6 to 8 episode Arrow season in like a limited series. And has talked to Greg Berlanti about it, but as of right now, no further talks have happened. And seeing as how well his show right now, Heels, is doing on Stars, I could see where a more adult-oriented version of Arrow could go, because he is killing it on there on Heels.
Yeah, I was actually listening to that full podcast right before going to bed. And yeah, it sounds like one of the things he really wants to do if he comes back to Arrow is that he wants to be on Arrow kind of more like as an executive producer as well as an actor. Like he wants to have like a lot more creative decisions in the directions that the show went, because that's what he's doing currently with Heels. And that was like one of the things that he mentioned about loving, being part of Heels, is the fact that he feels more like a partner and not just someone doing this as a job. So he has like a lot more passion behind Heels that he would love to bring to it if they ever decide to bring back Arrow. And yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool personally if they wanted to do a reboot to Arrow on HBO Max, but like instead of having it be tied to the Arrowverse, have it be tied to the DCEU, so we get to see like his a new version of Green Arrow played by Stephen Amell again, but like connected to the but maybe have him connected to like the Birds of Prey that we saw already in theaters. Like I think that would be pretty cool to see.
You think like this is a way of Stephen Amell trying to work his way into the DCEU?
I think so, and I think if he doesn't get it, that's fine. I'm sure they're going to find someone who is more fit to play the DCEU version of Green Arrow. But if they don't have anyone in mind, why not go with something that worked once before, and then just kind of give it a little bit of a. I don't want it to be exactly like Arrow from the CW, because if they're going to bring him back for a new universe,
just give me a season. Yeah, give me a new season.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a little bit of a tweak to it. So, I think it's a cool idea personally.
I think between his range from Degrassi to Hung to the stuff he's doing with Code 8, with the possible Code 8 sequel happening to Heels, he's showing his range. He's showing that he can actually act. With Heels, he's showing that he can act, executive, be a director and executive producer show, which is actually, when I tell you guys the show is good, I'm not Stephen Amell fanboying. I mean, every actor on this show, every line in this show written is actually really good storytelling, and it's just top-notch television.
Okay.
So I can see now where he has the leverage because of what he's doing in order to come back and be like, hey, you see the following that I have for this, what I'm doing here, you know, especially with all these different wrestlers that can come in, do guest spots in the show, the same ones that are doing guest spots on Heels, you know, in this whole world that he's creating. It would probably benefit them to go with something like that, you know, in order to already have that built-in fan base to be able to bring something back alive. And it could save what is a floundering storyline when it comes to that part of the DCEU, because we know the successful part. We like Birds of Prey, we like some stuff that happened in there, but the fan consistency is it was you know, but those were good characters.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So let us save the stuff that we liked and just put it in the aspect of what it should have been put in.
Well, we'll have to see what happens, but that's pretty cool. I didn't know that Stephen Amell was even open to the idea of returning as Arrow, or maybe even doing something as a limited series, especially with the backing of somebody like a HBO Max or a Netflix. You know, I think that would be pretty cool to see if something like that happens. And we just wind up having news that, you know, Mia Queen was coming back, Kate McNamara was coming back for the upcoming crossover event. Whether or not that leads to an upcoming, you know, another Green Arrow show or whatever the case may be for her, who certainly knows. But the idea that they at least still have Oliver's legacy intact, as a fan personally, makes me super excited. So we'll see what happens there, guys. But that'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Stephen Amell be an executive producer on an Arrow show at some point in time.
He swears better than Dick.
Well, that's good.
See, actually, yeah, that would be really cool to see Arrow be able to actually drop some F-bombs, because it felt like very much in the earlier seasons of Arrow, like you could tell they really wanted to be more of a TVMA type of series, but the CW was like, nope, you got to keep it for teenagers.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. So we'll see. I hope it happens. I think that'd be pretty cool. I would love to see Stephen Amell come back at any point in time. All right, guys. I believe with that out of the way, we will be getting into our main topics for the day, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 6, 2 from DC, 2 movie television topics, and of course 2 Marvels to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode. So we're going to be getting into it, and then of course towards the end of this episode we will be taking your guys' live viewer questions. If you want to go ahead and submit a live viewer question over, you can do it anytime during the week if you like, whether it's a show you watch, a movie you watch, you want to further talk about, any questions, a news article you read that you want to inquire more about. Feel free to go ahead and submit your questions over to us at any time at aplusopinions@gmail.com. Again, that's aplusopinions@gmail.com, and we'll definitely go ahead and get to your questions towards the end of our episode. All right, guys, you ready to go ahead and tackle these main topics today?
Always.
Let's do this. Guys, it's almost here. DC Fandome is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. October 16th, 2021. We're about a month away or so, a little bit over a month away from this certainly happening. And if you guys recall, we wind up having a DC Fandome as of last year as well. And it literally floored us. I mean, you want to talk about putting us to work. I mean, the 3 of us were working nonstop on a Saturday and a Sunday to go ahead and continue to bring fantastic content from that DC Fandome. I mean, we had a ton of panels, from television shows to movies to even just Q&A questions with some of the executive producers and the heads over at DC, trying to figure out what their plan was for the DC television universe and cinematic universe. It was a fantastic time. I mean, if you were a fan, not only did you get to see like behind the scenes footage, you got some great like reveals, some photos, some great Q&A panels with some of the stars of upcoming movies. I personally had a blast. And I really do think that these other 2 gentlemen did as well. But if you enjoyed the first DC Fandome, which was due to the fact that we wind up having a pandemic, we didn't have any conventions that people could certainly go to. So the idea of DC putting this together to really explore and showcase what they were working on was a fantastic idea for last year. And so much, in fact, that they decided to go ahead and do it once again, ladies and gentlemen. So October 16th, DC Fandome 2021 will certainly be here. And we got ourselves a huge announcement this week that wind up actually even breaking down all the exclusive content that we're going to be getting this time around. So I'm a little surprised that unlike last year, though, this seems to be an only one-day event. Last year, it wound up turning not only into a two-day event, but if you guys recall, they literally had to split it up and eventually have the second part of DC Fandom like a week or two after, because there was just a plethora of information and stuff that was certainly thrown out there. So if you guys were hyped about DC Fandom, you should be hyped again. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the content that they're going to be teasing us with and showcasing us for this upcoming convention this year. So let's go ahead and pull this up, guys. This actually comes to us from deadline.com. If anything, we'll probably go through each segment and just talk about it briefly and then move on to the next one, because there's plenty of different topics for them to go through. So DC Fandom 2021 lineup includes Aquaman 2, Shazam Fury of the Gods, plus more. It says Warner Brothers has announced what's in store for the second annual virtual streaming event, DC Fandom, on Saturday, October 16th. The huge event kicks off at 10 a.m. The event will take place at dcfandome.com, so their website, but also be available on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, which I don't believe last year they had all that availability. I believe it was just the website you went to. But additionally, DC Kids Fandome will launch the same day with a special kid-friendly experience accessed separately at dckidsfandom.com. I think that's a fantastic idea, honestly. They do say that the Fandome 2020 was the first of its kind, a global virtual fan experience that showcased every aspect of the DC universe with unprecedented scale and access. This year, we're taking everything that people loved about DC Fandom and supercharging it to super serve fans with even more exclusive first looks, breaking news, in-depth interviews, and insight from the stars and creative teams of their favorite DC content. So on the film side of things, guys, Warner Brothers will show off an exclusive new trailer for The Batman, new content for DC's League of Super Pets, first look at Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, and then a sneak peek at The Flash, and behind-scenes look at both Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, so the Aquaman sequel, and Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. So they're not pulling any punches here, fellas. I mean, when you're talking about movies, some of the biggest movies that a lot of us are certainly anticipating, we know that The Flash is currently filming. Batman, if I'm not mistaken, has officially wrapped. So we're going to be getting ourselves a new trailer. And if you recall, the first time we got a look at the Batman was last year's DC Fandom, where we had Matt Reeves give a fantastic interview before even introducing us to the Batman world. We're going to get more footage finally. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam, first look. I'm hoping this is a little bit of a teaser trailer. Who knows? A sneak peek at The Flash. Guys, when you see this from the movie side of things, there's so much to talk about. But is there any one of these in particular that you're super pumped about to finally get your eyes on? Anybody? Oh, Stuart, I think you're muted, Stuart, if you're talking. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, for me, I would definitely say the Batman is the one that I'm most excited for, because I look at last year when they had I think they said like an eighth of the movie actually filmed, and they were able to give such an awesome introduction, like you were mentioning with Matt Reeves, interview, him talking about what he loves about Batman, what he loves about the previous adaptations that we got of Batman, and what all the different actors had brought to the table. And then him talking about what he's excited to bring to the table with Robert Pattinson. I just want to see a freaking hour-long video of just him talking about Batman, because that 5 minutes we got of him talking about his new upcoming Batman movies was so freaking entertaining. I absolutely loved it. And then on top of that, the fact that the trailer only had about an eighth of the movie to use, and yet you still had such an awesome looking trailer was almost mind-blowing to me, because if I didn't know any better, if I just saw the trailer on its own, I would have assumed that has to be either a finalized trailer, after the movie just finished wrapping, maybe not finished fully with its production, but definitely finished filming. That's what I would have thought from looking at that that trailer, but no, only an eighth of the movie. So now that the movie is finished filming and they have all this new footage to use, I'm so excited to see what the trailer is going to look like now. With having so much more variety, I guess, to use. And also, yeah, I hope that we get another interview from Matt Reeves before the movie gets introduced.
Yeah, I hope so too. You're absolutely right. Like just hearing him talk about Batman and just how knowledgeable he is of the character and just getting his point of view of how he really wanted to sort of tackle this movie was a great hype machine before even dropping the trailer. So if Matt Reeves is speaking, I'm definitely going to go ahead and pay attention. Let me go ahead and throw this over to you, Indy. Out of the film side of things, out of some of the exclusive content that they showed that we're going to be teased and showcased, what's jumping out at you that you're looking forward to the most?
Why would it be anything other than Black Adam? A character that deserves to have a cinematic feature. I don't know how many times we've seen Batman. What is it, like a 14, 15 different Batman we done had? You know what I'm saying? In 20 years. We get to see this character, Black Adam, on the screen for the first time. Not only that, but he had to do so well in this movie that they decided to let his company be the, you know what I'm saying, the front of the first animated film for the DC pets. So that means that a Black Adam movie has to be amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what The Rock did, because he's championed this particular movie like he hasn't championed anything else. Like, you see him push movies. No, this Black Adam thing has been a real personal conquest for him for years, and I want to see what he did with it. And we had one of the best cinematic like trailers, like, you know what I'm saying, looks into what we were going to have from this movie just from the last DC Fandome. So I'm hoping we actually get some type of actual movie footage with a teaser trailer or something just to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for some level of content, at least, to actually see visually, because last year when you did the panel review for that, they used a lot of concept art and moving concept art, right, to kind of tease what they wanted to showcase. But I fully expect, hopefully, we get ourselves either a teaser trailer or even just a little bit of tease of something. Like, can I just see Dwayne in his costume? You know what I'm saying? I would absolutely eat that up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say I'm totally willing to cover the Black Adam stuff again.
I was gonna say, if anything, I'll let you cover that again this year. Yeah.
Yeah, like with Black Adam, what really surprised me about the teaser they had is that they had so little, and yet they did so much with that very little that they had to really like show, in the upcoming movie. I love that they were able to get Dwayne Johnson to kind of narrate like a little bit of what the story is going to be, and I love how they had, like you guys were mentioning the motion for the concept art. I think it looked really cool. But yeah, I'm hoping we at the very least get to see Dwayne Johnson rocking the costume this time, because I look forward to seeing, like, because they don't even need to do any padding with this costume. It definitely doesn't have to be like it is in Shazam, where, you could tell Zachary Levi isn't quite as buff as he's supposed to be. So I look forward to seeing how they do it with Dwayne Johnson, and seeing if it's just a skin tight outfit, but his body just like brings in the muscle and everything like that. I can't wait to see this costume.
Yeah, Zachary Levi actually looks like he's actually filling out his suit here in the Shazam sequel himself. So they definitely did a much better job in regards to costume design. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson looks like in his costume for Black Adam. Yeah, that's my boy Jonathan certainly coming through. Yeah, definitely the hype level for Black Adam is certainly through the roof. I think for me right now, if I had to pick out of this, the sneak peek I'm really looking forward to, since you guys picked the Batman and Black Adam, I'll definitely say the Flash here. Like, for me, in surprisingly, I will say this. I think the character, as much as I am super excited to see Michael Keaton back as Batman, even Ben Affleck back as Batman, the person that I'm super excited to see is Sasha Calle as Supergirl. Like, I really want to see just this version of Supergirl, what her origin story is, right? Like, which character or version of Supergirl they decided to use from the comic books for here. Is she good? Is she evil? Right? Like, is she sort of like the big bad of this particular movie? Who certainly knows? But I really am looking forward to seeing. I mean, we've already seen some set photos and small video clips of Supergirl, of Ben Affleck's Batman on the scene. We've even seen a photo of Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne out in public and things like that. Full set of gray hair, looks incredible. Like, for me, when it comes to the Flash, I think I definitely understand the importance of this movie when it comes to the DCEU and how much the events of this film I think are really going to push the trajectory of the DCEU certainly going forward. So when it comes to any of these, sneak peeks or looks that I'm really looking forward to, definitely The Flash, because I definitely want to see what the tone is going to be set like for the remainder of the DCEU going forward. And I just want to see all these fantastic characters finally collaborating on screen together, something that I never thought that we would see. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Maybe that's one that I will personally go ahead and review for you guys also, that particular panel. But we'll definitely see. It should be certainly a fun one. So that's the movie side of things, guys. That's just the movie side. Like that literally could be like an entire day if they wanted to. But no, Warner Brothers is like, you know what? We still got television to offer you guys. So they're going to offer a look at the new season of Batwoman. They're also going to showcase the new season of The Flash, Superman and Lois, and Sweet Tooth. And then we're also going to get a farewell tribute to Supergirl as it approaches its epic conclusion after 6 seasons. Kudos to them for being able to do that. But I would also love to see a farewell tribute to Black Lightning as well. But it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that. A celebration of 100 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow. So Legends of Tomorrow gets a celebration of its own. And then even a first look at the forthcoming new drama in Naomi, and a sneak peek at upcoming episodes of Stargirl. If anything, I believe probably by October, Stuart, Stargirl will still be going on. You believe so?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll be going into like a mid-season finale, or maybe even coming back from one. Who certainly knows? But it should be interesting to see what they have to show us from Stargirl. Out of this lineup, though, for Warner Brothers Television, anything jump out at you that you're looking forward to checking out?
Probably The Flash, just because, more than likely the only thing they're going to be able to show from The Flash is from the big crossover event, because I assume that's what they've that's all they're still in the process of filming it, if I'm not mistaken. So I feel like
are they filming the upcoming season?
Yeah. So for both Batwoman and The Flash, they're currently in the process of filming both of those. So I feel like we are going to get a trailer for both of those two shows. I know that for Superman and Lois and Sweet Tooth, it'll more than likely just be like introduction or like a cast like interview or something like that, and maybe a slight introduction of what the plot's going to be for their next seasons. But we're definitely not going to be getting a trailer for either of them. But for Batwoman and The Flash, those are the two that I'm looking forward to, because those are going to be the ones that we're actually going to get full-on trailers for, and it'll give us our first look at the big crossover event for The Flash.
Man, I didn't even think about that, because I believe I think I had been, now that you mention it, I do believe I have been seeing some behind the scene videos, because I thought I saw The Flash and even Brandon Routh in his Atom costume. And for some reason I saw it, I thought it was maybe like old footage from like an old season or crossover or something like that. I didn't know it was brand new. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, The Flash, now that you mention it, I'm super looking forward to The Flash's panel in here, because I definitely do think that they're certainly going to tease us. What about you, Indy? You see some of the things that we're going to get a look at here for WB Television. What jumps out of you from this lineup?
To be totally honest with you, this might go off of trail or what I normally go, but I'm really interested in seeing what they got to show us for Naomi. I'm really interested in seeing the direction of the show, what type of base drama they're going with, especially with Stargirl taking more of the high school, funny, type of route, sometimes drama between the family. I just feel like Naomi will be something maybe a little bit darker, what I'm saying, a little bit more serious, kind in the lane of Black Lightning, and that's what I'm hoping we get from it, especially with Black Lightning being gone. But I will put it this way: season 7 of The Flash has me not interested in anything that's going to happen with The Flash past the first 5 episodes. So then we'll see if we're going to be interested in that. But Naomi, congrats, huge congrats to Legends of Tomorrow for reaching their 100 episodes, because that show gets poo-pooed on so bad, and it's actually just good writing. It's funny, it's funny, it's entertaining, it's not meant to be taken too serious, and I think people are just so used to what we got from the start of the Arrowverse that's all that they want. and not knowing that stuff evolves and changes and get different, and the transition these characters have. Because if you look at the cast of Legends of Tomorrow, they've went through the most personal growth as characters as anybody in all these shows, through everything they've been through. So you've been growing with them for seasons. So it's great that they hit 100 episodes. I just hope that 100 episode mark doesn't mean that they're canceled at the end of next season. So let's see what happens. Let's see what they got to surprise us with. But Naomi is where it's going to be at for me when it drops.
Shout out to Carneal for certainly coming through today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, I definitely am looking forward to Naomi, just like you, Indy. I think it'll be, I definitely want to see what Ava DuVernay is certainly doing with that character title for sure. For me, I think if there is something that I'm truly looking forward to, considering that I have been reviewing Supergirl for all 6 seasons of it, I'm here for the farewell tribute to Supergirl. I truly am. Again, a little bit disappointed we are not having one for Black Lightning. I definitely do believe that they certainly deserve some shine also. But I got to be honest. I know that sometimes Supergirl has been a hit or miss for some people. It is a season that for myself, or a show and series in general, that I personally enjoy. I really do like the actors. I really do like the characters that we've had so far. So for me, I already know I'm going to have to get my tissues ready for the finale of Supergirl season 6. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to re-up on those tissues for this farewell tribute also. I am kind of hoping that out of this tribute, though, that maybe we do get ourselves some breaking news in regards to where some of these characters will maybe go, whether that be to other shows or maybe unannounced spinoffs that we haven't been introduced to as of yet. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed, Stuart and Indy, for a Legion of Superheroes spinoff show, because I just think Dreamer's such a strong character now. You got Martian Manhunter there. You still also have Brainiac. I'm hoping that we get to see Mon-El towards the end of Supergirl season 6 also. So I feel like you have the recipe for that. So I don't know if we're going to get any announcements like, hey, this character's moving over to this show now. There's going to be a recurring character over here, or having their own spinoff. I don't really know the future of it whatsoever, but I still think that there's a lot of promise with these characters and more story to certainly be told with some of them. So for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing this farewell tribute. One, because I know that this cast absolutely loves each other. They're clearly like family. So I definitely want to see what DC is going to be putting together to go ahead and say farewell to Melissa Benoist and the rest of the cast. And hopefully we'll certainly see them again. On the
I feel like with Supergirl, there's just an opportunity for the CW to be able to like have their cake and eat it too by like ending it. But if they do like what you were saying, like a Legion of Superhero show, what's great about it is that they could bring back as many of the actors that want to come back as possible. And they could even bring back Supergirl without using Melissa Benoist, because we've already been introduced to like a younger high school version of her that they could totally have as kind of like, you know, as like kind of a lead on the show. Maybe not the lead, but like, you know, as a character on the show. Because that's what happens like in the Justice League animated series, is that they, you know, have Supergirl from the past join the Legion of Superheroes. So I feel like there's a really big opportunity there, and I feel like the only thing stopping them from pulling the trigger might be Warner Brothers not sure if they want them to use the Legion of Superheroes like full time. So I really hope that's something that Warner Brothers allows the CW to do, and you know, then we can get, because I feel like Brainy and Dreamer are definitely two characters that they want to keep going, especially because they have such like great chemistry together. So I feel like this is just such a good opportunity. So if they wanted to announce something that would really blow people's minds, Legion of Superhero spinoff, guys.
Yeah, I would hope so. And we are definitely expecting a ton of other announcements and breaking news type of stuff outside of just some of these particular panels. So we'll see what they have in store for us. Let's see here on the game side of things. A sneak peek at Gotham Knights is going to be debuting here. We're also going to be getting which is being developed by Warner Brothers Game Montreal, along with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, developed by Rocksteady Studios. You guys are big gamers. Are you guys pumped for both of those reveals?
I definitely hope we get like more gameplay footage from the Suicide Squad video game, because the trailer that they showed definitely looked like it was going to have a lot of good comedy along with some good storylines. So yeah, I hope like all we need now from it is some good gameplay elements as well. So yeah, I look forward to that.
So, yeah, some gameplay would be great.
I have an idea. what system do you game on, Stuart?
PlayStation 5.
I hate you because I'm gonna have to do 2 then. All right. I'm pretty sure I can make this happen, but we'll submit it afterwards. Okay. I'm going to have to send you both Xbox Series X's. We'll do Adams as a gift, since you know what I'm saying, since the baby's coming, because you're gonna be spending a lot of time on the couch with the baby. Need something to do, and we can actually be able to, because I know for a fact I'm getting copies of I'm getting a code for Gotham City Knights so we can game share, and
nice.
we could stream that.
Let's make it happen.
We can stream that, and then it's nothing. Is you know what I'm saying? It's for the content. It's for APlus. So you know what I'm saying. I can get it done.
For the content. Awesome. I love your mindset, man. I love it. So yeah, we'll definitely go ahead and do that for sure, man. Yeah, good looking out. Let's see here. A couple other things. DC Publishing, big comic book fan guys. They'll showcase new 3 books for Wonder Woman, the DC label miniseries Wonder Woman Historia, which builds on the Amazon mythos with Nubia and the Amazons. We also have the Wonderful Woman of the World. Additionally, DC will share details about the next installment for the Batman Fortnite comic crossover and Batman Fear State, the new 6-issue Black Manta series, and then the return to Milestone universe also. HBO Max will unveil an exclusive look at the upcoming Warner Brothers TV series Peacemaker, which they actually went ahead and even dropped a little poster also to highlight DC fandom along with Peacemaker also. So we'll be getting a little bit of insight into there. And then it says the streamer is also debuting more surprises as sneak peeks for the new series, as well as returning favorites such as Titans and Doom Patrol, which is interesting because I think by October, I would think that maybe Titans is wrapping up, or maybe we're getting into this season finale by that time. But should be interesting to see what they have in store for us. But I am very looking forward to that Peacemaker exclusive look. And then, of course, when it comes to Warner Brothers animation, we're going to finally get a look at the upcoming limited series Aquaman King of Atlantis, which, if you guys recall, a few months back, we actually did show like the first look image. I know you guys were kind of thrown off about the animation style. Are you interested at least to see what it's going to look like in motion? Because I'm pretty sure we'll probably have a trailer for this.
Yeah, like I definitely at least want to see like what the humor is going to be like, if they're going to go for like kind of the more edgy humor, or if it's going to be like more kid-friendly humor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Andy.
No, you go. I just said I don't know. After the masterpiece that was Harley Quinn, it's going to take some getting used to, but I will see, because it's been so long and I really haven't checked out any DC animation because nothing is dropped. It's probably something I pick up and get into before I get back into something, you know what I'm saying, else. But after watching friggin' Harley Quinn and Invincible, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into that animation. I'm not an Adventure Time fan.
I get you. Definitely a very unique style, to certainly say the least. They're also going to be highlighting season 3 of Harley Quinn, like you just mentioned, and Dark Knight, the all new upcoming series, Batman Cape Crusader, as well as Young Justice Phantoms. So the next season of Young Justice is certainly going to be teased also. So very promising stuff, man. Very promising stuff. And it also says home entertainment. We also have DC animated films, a sneak peek at Superman and the rest of the Justice League in Injustice, as well as the premiere of a trailer for the all new animated heist movie, Catwoman Hunted. So guys, this DC fandom is going to be packed, ladies and gentlemen, packed to the brim. And I'm actually kind of surprised, guys. Are you surprised that this is just a one-day event with all this stuff sort of happening? It kind of feels like similar to what we had last year. There might be some panels that are kind of overlapping one another once again. It should be interesting to see how they're spread out through the 24 hours of the day. Do you think they'll be able to tackle everything, or do you think it might be a case of last year where they literally realized we've got way too much damn content, we got to split this up into an additional weekend? What do you guys think is going to happen here?
If I had to guess, I think the reason that they're splitting it into 2 different or to 1 day, or sorry, let me reword that. The reason they're not splitting it into 2 different days is because I feel like for the second time it happened, the hype was kind of gone. So like it was very low key. The second day was like there weren't really that many people streaming it on YouTube or Facebook like there was for the first one. There weren't that many people really covering anything from it. So yeah, I feel like the viewership for that must have been incredibly low. So I think what they're trying to do is to make sure like everything's on the same day. So every bit of content that they have gets a moment to shine. And I think because they're not going to have to worry about filling in all the content with like interviews and just like all sorts of unscripted interviews and just kind of random like padding. I feel like they actually are a lot better now with having trailers timed and just having everything way more organized. So they know exactly how to I think it's more like they learned from last year and they know exactly how to keep people entertained throughout the entire like 24-hour event.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I'm also so used to when you go to conventions, right? Most of these panels sometimes tend to be like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you know what I mean, long. Whereas last year, a lot of these panels were like 10 minutes. Right? Some were like 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes sort of thing. Just sort of brief teases that didn't take up too much of your time. So maybe there will be varying lengths of some of these panels where maybe the longest is like 20 minutes or something along those lines. You know what I mean? So maybe they might be able to fit in more content that way also. So that's also another option there too. But you could be right, because I do recall even the idea of us tackling it again that second time around for that following weekend, the hype level definitely sort of dropped in regards to its momentum. So you think that has anything to do with it, Indy, also?
To be totally honest with you, I kind of think it does, the hype thing, but I think also that they understand what they're trying to do now. Like they can get through what they're going to do. Now, what makes this difficult is for reviewers like us. Because I felt like we had breaks and we had time to chill. We were able to conversate, get the videos and stuff up. But I really feel like the way that we break stuff down and how we do it is going to be nonstop going. Like we're not going to be able to have a break in order. We'll be finishing one panel, maybe record a video before we even get it up. We got to go to the next panel. And that's where it gets crazy. So it might work for them to go and get that over, especially with cons and stuff being up and open now and them actually be able to get content out there as well. But it's horrible for the people who report on.
Yeah, it was crazy last year. It was crazy last year.
It was fun.
I felt like, it was fun though. Yeah,
that was the most fun I had, and I've had a lot of fun being here with you guys and doing stuff here. But in a weekend, that was the most fun I had in a long time, because it was like
we were doing pre-recorded. We were going live from time to time, like in between. Yeah, we were going live for the really big panels. And then we were like, all right, guys, break. And then we would all separate and do our little mini panels real quick and pop those up. It was hectic, super busy, but hella fun for sure, man. So I'm really hoping that it delivers here again this upcoming year. But yeah, go ahead, Stuart. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it was a good thing that smell-o-vision isn't a thing, because I'm just like in my tool shed the entire day, just sweating the entire day because it was so hot. I think it was like in the middle of exactly. I think it was in the middle of summer. I had like one fan and I had to turn it off because it was loud anytime we were going live. It was such a blast, but oh my gosh, it was uncomfortable as heck. So I look forward to being able to do it at this apartment this year.
Yeah, you guys were troopers. So it should be fun, guys. But yes, we definitely will be providing you guys with fantastic DC Fandome content. So if you're not following us over on our YouTube page, or especially over on our Facebook page, please go ahead and certainly follow us there. And hopefully we will get ourselves a DC Fandome schedule, hopefully a couple of weeks prior to the event itself, so we can really plan out how we're going to go ahead and tackle some of these panel reviews. But guys, you hear some of the content that DC Fandome is dishing out for us this year. What are you certainly looking very forward to? Certainly go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, and with that particular topic out of the way, we will transition over to our other DC topic, and that is in regards to DC television, ladies and gentlemen. Not many people thought Batwoman would be getting itself a season 3 once season 2 dropped. Oh, there's no way this show's going to get canceled before you know it. Well, you know what? They up this season, and Batwoman season 3 is in fact here. And honestly, if you ask me, they've been having some amazing, not only casting announcements, but also some really great sort of introductions to new characters that are going to be popping up in this upcoming season to truly push this season forward. And this week, guys, we wind up getting ourselves a brand new face here to Batwoman for the upcoming 3rd season. One that I'm really excited about. While I'm certainly thrilled that this character is being brought to live action again, it's not like we haven't seen iterations of her before on television. I definitely still want to see this character in the movies, but I'll certainly take this for what it is, especially because I'm really hoping that it just ups the ante for Javicia Leslie's Batwoman this season, because this year, guys, not only are we going to get characters like Renee Montoya, not only are we going to get great actresses like Robin Givens for season 3, but guys, we're also going to be getting the character Poison Ivy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Poison Ivy is going to be making her debut here into Batwoman season 3. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This is actually from Variety.com, letting us know that Batwoman has officially cast Bridget Regan as Poison Ivy in season 3, ladies and gentlemen. So she will be picking up the mantle. I mean, look, we've seen live actions before. Uma Thurman from the Batman movies. We've even seen a couple of different actresses portray Poison Ivy in the Gotham series as well. And she pops up here in Batwoman season 3. So let's go ahead and break this down. It says Batwoman has found its Poison Ivy. The CW series has cast Bridget Regan as the iconic DC supervillain for the show's 3rd season. For those of you who are not familiar with her, it says Poison Ivy, aka Pamela Isley, is a former botany student of Gotham University, described as a passionate, brilliant scientist with a mind for changing the world for the better. But her plans shifted when she was experimented on by a colleague injected with various plant toxins, which turned her into the infamous Batman villain Poison Ivy. It says Regan will appear on Batwoman in a recurring guest role. This is not her first time in live action comic book series, having previously appeared on ABC's Agent Carter. I didn't know that Regan was on Agent Carter. She recently even starred in the limited series Paradise Lost, and is also known for her roles on shows like The Last Ship, Jane the Virgin, and White Collar. But yeah, she's going to be on here as a actual recurring character, a recurring guest role. So Poison Ivy seemingly will have a pretty good spot on this season with some hopeful great potential here. But let me go ahead and throw this over to the man that covers Batwoman for us, Indy. He's done a great job the past 2 seasons with his reviews for the show. You hear the idea that Poison Ivy's being added to this season. Does this increase your hype level at all, or how are you expecting them to maybe use the character, or just what are your thoughts on this casting?
Guest role.
Yeah, recurring guest role. So it's yeah. So how many episodes do you think that is, Stuart? When they say like recurring guest role, like half the season, maybe less than that.
Hopefully 7 at least half. It's really hard because it's such a vague term. Like it could literally mean like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, or it means that they or it could be like, you know, half the season. If it's a reoccurring one, yeah, I don't know. It's such a vague, broad term. So I'm gonna hope though with a character like Ivy, like it seems like they want to be careful not to overuse her, just use her sparingly. So I'm going to assume probably at the most like 10 episodes is what they're gonna go with her.
I think it's going to be something where you see her, she disappears and she pops back up. It's not going to be like consecutively.
I wonder if maybe we'll get an origin story out of her here. Like you said, the idea of her popping up maybe, and then something happens to her and she's gone and then eventually comes back.
Yeah, an origin story would be good because we already know she's existed because of the stuff that was stolen out of Batman's special cave. One of them was, you know what I'm saying, reminiscence of Poison Ivy from the different stuff he collected from villains. I would love an origin story from Poison Ivy because that's something that you never really got in her story. She was already a defined villain. So seeing what drives her to be who she is would be very interesting to me because I didn't follow Poison Ivy in the comics. The first time I ever saw her was the animated series. you know, like most people, if you really didn't follow Batman comics. And she's been a fan favorite villain of mine, you know what I'm saying, ever since, just because of what she stood for and just the crazy power set that she had. So I'm very interested in seeing how they translate this to me in live action, because the other live action versions of her that they had to me weren't really that good. Uma Thurman is dope, but I did not like her in that particular role. Now, Bridget is, from what I've seen her in, she's top notch as far as an actress, especially in character roles. So I want to see how she takes this character, makes it her own, but still presents, you know what I'm saying, the version of Poison Ivy that Batwoman is going to have for us.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I'm not too familiar with Bridget's work, but if you've seen her, I definitely trust your judgment in regards to what she's going to bring to the role. I will say this: I do think that this is actually a really smart move on their part, to go ahead and do this, simply because of the fact that I feel like with the popularity of a show like Harley Quinn over on HBO Max, the idea that people absolutely love not only Harley, but also the Poison Ivy character and what, you know, with the type of dynamic that she certainly brings to the forefront. The fact that more people are probably now becoming more aware of the Poison Ivy character, I think this is a great opportunity for them to jump on board with that, right? Why not bring a character on board for the upcoming season that is gaining even more popularity, that people want to see more of? So yeah, taking advantage of what Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's doing, but bringing that to live action and bringing on to Batwoman season 3, super smart of them to certainly do that. But I will be interested to see how she's utilized. I do hope, very similar to you, that we do get ourselves maybe an origin story, get to see what happens to her. Maybe she falls off for a couple of episodes and then maybe comes back the second half of the season in her, you know, fully formed Poison Ivy mode. I think that would be really, really great. And I continue to love just the addition of the characters that they have here. I think they're being super smart about who they're selecting to go ahead and bring in this season. And for me, at least, it definitely has made this upcoming season very exciting, to certainly say the least. I'm ready to see some of these characters, not only in live action, but how the Batwoman series decides to go ahead and handle them. And then also just have them opposite of somebody as talented as a Javicia Leslie also. So I think this is fantastic news. But let me go over to you, Stuart. You hear this news of Poison Ivy joining Batwoman. Does it increase your anticipation? What are you expecting from the character here this season?
First, I got to say they chose like a perfect actress for her, because I remember seeing her as Dottie in Agent Carter, and I thought she was like absolutely excellent in that role. So I think she's going to bring a lot to the table for Poison Ivy, because even just looking at her, I think, like, you know, if you were to just kind of guess a supervillain that she could play, I feel like just the hair alone, you're like, oh, definitely Poison Ivy. But so yeah, I think she's going to definitely bring a lot to the table. I look forward to seeing how she's written into the show, because the way they left things at the very end of Batwoman season 2, I kind of was under the assumption that we were going to be getting new versions of all these different supervillain characters. So it really surprises me that we're for Poison Ivy specifically, that we're actually getting her back, and I'm really excited to see how big of a role she plays in the season, even if she is only going to be like a guest reoccurring role. I'm kind of curious how many episodes she's in, and then how big of an impact she has on the season through those episodes. But yeah, definitely with some of the characters that they're bringing in, not just her, but also with Renee Montoya, I definitely have a lot of anticipation for this upcoming season, especially with how they did it at the second half of season 2. Because, you know, I think I've made it clear, like the first half of season 2 for Batwoman, I was not a fan of. I actually almost gave up on the show from it. But then I feel like there was just that halfway point where the writing felt like it went in a completely different direction. Almost everything that I didn't like about the first half, it was like they immediately fixed about it. So I really hope that momentum continues into season 3 with Ivy as the new villain.
Yeah, I definitely hope so too, and I'm hoping that this type of character really will help bring and help carry that momentum through the remainder of the season. You know, the one thing that really jumps out to me, they continue to bring some really great sort of female characters to this season. Renee Montoya, Poison Ivy, Robin Givens, a strong, incredible actress who's going to have a really significant role this season. Also, if there are any other female characters out there on the DC television side or things, or just DC Comics, if there are any other female characters characters that you would like to see introduced into this show, whether that be this season or an upcoming season? Indy's got a big grin on his face. Who would you like to see Batwoman? Maybe whether that be a first-time live-action character, maybe it's somebody that we've seen before. Who would you like to see, Indy?
Zatanna. Oh
God. That big old grin gave it away. I should have known.
For me, with them bringing in Poison Ivy, I feel like it's now is the perfect opportunity to bring in bring Harley Quinn back to the Arrowverse, because we got her for a brief cameo back in Arrow with Tara Strong actually playing her in live action. So, you know, even if it's only for one scene, I wouldn't mind if Poison Ivy's last scene in Batwoman is her breaking Harley Quinn out of Arkham Asylum, and then we get to see like Tara Strong like dressed up as Harley Quinn. I think that would be so cool. And it would give that would be the best way to hype up every freaking DC fan. Like if Batwoman needs like an easy way to get a bunch of viewers, put Tara Strong back in as Harley Quinn for just a brief cameo. That's all you need.
I would be down for that. You know, give me 2 characters or maybe 3 characters I would love to see. Either Huntress at some point in time. I would even take Spoiler in here too.
We got her in season 2.
Oh, really? She popped up in? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she wasn't Spoiler, but she was Sophia, and they kind of hint at a romance between her and Luke. So that might. I feel like we're gonna get more of her in season 3.
Ooh, I dig it, man. I dig it. I'm there for it.
It was that was like the Saw episode almost, where it was like Saw like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I remember that was like one of the best episodes of the season too.
Yeah. It would actually be really funny if we ended up getting Tim Drake in season 3 of Batwoman, and he gets pissed off at Luke for trying to get in on his girl.
And then the last person I wouldn't mind seeing, I don't know if they introduced Selena Kyle, Catwoman at all.
No, that would be awesome.
Mentioned, haven't introduced, like she's been hinted at.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Because of the fact that we have had the actress that's playing Renee Montoya was on Gotham, and she's kind of doing this particular role again. I want the same girl that played Selena Kyle in Gotham, Cameron Bicondova. I really would love to see her come back as Selena Kyle and do a version of Catwoman for the Batwoman show. I thought she killed it as Selena Kyle as a younger kid, of course, clearly. But I would love to see her actually pick up the mantle again now that she's older and things like that. I think that'd be pretty cool addition. But yeah, I guess now that I'm seeing like Renee Montoya, Poison Ivy, now my head just explodes as to how much growth can really come to a series like Batwoman. You know, way past the season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely see. Yeah, guys, we definitely want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about the idea of adding Poison Ivy to Batwoman season 3? Again, Bridget Regan has in fact been cast as Poison Ivy. Certainly go ahead and let us know your guys' thoughts and levels of anticipation for having this character in this upcoming season. All right, guys, I believe with that topic out of the way, we will go ahead and transition to our next topic. This one in the more realm of television, and then another one, well, I guess they're both television projects, honestly, now that I come to think about it. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not quite sure yet how to feel about a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. I'm actually pretty open to it. I definitely want to see what comes of it. But the idea of doing a reboot is one that I find actually relatively fascinating. I haven't actually heard too much about what's going on in regards to why it's being produced, you know, how this concept and show, the idea of doing a reboot kind of came about. I personally don't know. Hopefully this article will certainly give us some intel. But I feel like when it comes to the idea of rebooting the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that's probably a lot of pressure, considering just even to this day how well the original certainly holds up over time. I mean, if you want to go ahead and check out Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's currently over on HBO Max. You guys can certainly check it out. Me and the Girlfriend, certainly. It's one of those shows that you can literally put on at any particular point in time. And to this day, it still makes us just laugh our asses off. I absolutely love this show. Loved it growing up when it was on air, and still continue to love it even during reruns and on streaming services. So the idea of them rebooting this was super fascinating to me, and one that I just felt, well, you want to talk about pressure on anybody? Yeah, here comes the pressure, guys. So this week, though, we wind up actually getting revealed that the actor that's going to be playing the lead role, which is in fact the Will Smith role, has in fact been cast, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We have the lead actor that's going to be in this particular series, and his name is in fact Jabari Banks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and pop this up here. This is from Variety.com. You may not know the gentleman, but it says Variety.com says Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama reboot at Peacock casts newcomer Jabari Banks in the Will Smith role. So this is this guy's first acting chops, if you will. I mean, maybe he's done some commercials or whatever the case may be, but or maybe some short films on the side. Who certainly knows? But this is his big break, guys. Jabari Banks will in fact be in the Will Smith role for the drama reboot of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So let's go ahead and dive into this. It says the drama reboot series at Peacock has cast newcomer Jabari Banks in the lead role. Banks will play the role of Will, who was played by Will Smith in the original 90s sitcom. Banks was informed by Will Smith himself that he had landed the part in a video, which can be seen above. Oh, really? There's a video that accompanies this? Oh, that's pretty cool. Can you imagine that, man? The first opportunity you have to land a huge role, and it's Will Smith like greeting you into that casting role. That's freaking amazing, if you ask me.
Can
It's
I ask you a question right quick?
What's up?
So you never saw the fan trailer that sparked all of this?
No. Never.
That's nuts.
I never seen it.
Viral.
I never seen it. No, I must have been. I'm still living under a rock, I guess. This pandemic got me hiding away from everything. It says Banks currently lives in West Philadelphia, also the birthplace of his character. That's even crazier. He graduated from the University of the Arts in Philadelphia in 2020. In addition to acting, he's also a songwriter, singer, rapper. Maybe you can get him on a feature, Indy, and basketball player. He's rep by Frontline Management and the Koner Agency. It says Bel-Air is based. Oh, there you go. Bel-Air is based on the viral video by Morgan Cooper, which reimagined the beloved Will Smith-led sitcom as a drama series. Peacock gave the show a 2-series order back in September 2020. Now that you mention it, Indy, I'm going to have to go ahead and check it out. So it says set in modern day America, Bel-Air is described as a serialized 1-hour dramatic analog of the sitcom version that leans into the original premise. Will's complicated journey from the streets of West Philadelphia to the gated mansions of Bel-Air. Cooper is set to serve even as an executive writer, director, and executive producer as well. And then, of course, Will Smith is also executive producing the series also. This has my attention, man. I never, I think I thought when they originally mentioned that we were going to be having ourselves a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot, I think for me, the first impression that I got was that this is going to be like another sitcom sort of concept, right? That they're just really going to be doing a complete reboot in the same vein that the original show was in. But the idea of dramatizing this into a 1-hour show, this feels like something I could probably watch on the CW at some point in time, or maybe even Fox or whatever the case may be. But this actually has piqued my interest now. This really has. And I think the idea of even Will Smith being an executive producer, as long as he's attached to it, I think that gives me a little bit more confidence that this series might actually end up being rather successful. One, because I do think that even though it is a reboot, switching it up to a drama, but I'm sure probably still allowing for some humor elements here or there, I definitely do think brings a different aspect to the show that might just have the storytelling feel quite different from the actual sitcom itself. And because of that, I think that even has me even more fascinated with how this is certainly going to turn out. So I'm excited for this. I'm glad that you mentioned that there was a viral video, Indy, because I completely missed out on that. So I am going to go ahead and certainly check it out. But props to Jabari Banks for landing this particular role. The fact that he's a newcomer and has the ability to impress enough somebody like Will Smith to go ahead and bring him on board to helm such a massive project that a ton of eyes are certainly going to be on. I think it's even trippier that the guy is from West Philadelphia himself. I mean, what are the chances of that? Unless they probably did. Maybe I'm curious if they did a lot of their casting in the Philadelphia area to certainly begin with, but man, this actually brings a huge smile to my face. So shout out to Jabari Banks for landing this role. And it has my attention, guys. Let me throw this over to you, Stuart, real quick. What do you think about this? Were you expecting, well, maybe you saw the viral video also, so maybe you were expecting them to take the more dramatic route. How do you think that's going to change the concept of the show? Do you think it'll heighten the show here, especially in more modern times? And what do you think about Jabari Banks being cast here?
So I actually haven't seen the viral trailer that Indy was talking about, but I now have it open. So as soon as as our podcast is done, I'm definitely checking it out. But yeah, so it's funny. This is something I always say that I want to see, like with not just television, but with movies in general. Like the idea of rebooting something, but with a very completely different style and a completely different tone than what the original had. I always like that idea on paper, but I haven't really seen it executed well yet. Because like right now, the two examples I can think of where it's been done is Riverdale and Sabrina. And both of those shows, to me, I couldn't even get through like like 2 episodes. Like for Riverdale, I saw the first episode. I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me. And then for Sabrina, the only reason I was able to finish the first episode was because I had my girlfriend watching it with me, and we were both able to make fun of it together. So in concept, I like this idea. I just have yet to see it executed correctly. So I hope if any show can get it right, I do think a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama reboot could work, because even, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air itself, even though it was hilarious, like a great sitcom, I think it had some dramatic moments that were done extremely well. So definitely. I would love to see how they do it within a show that's actually meant to be a drama.
Definitely. I remember one episode I remember watching was Will, I think, got busted for taking some sort of like caffeine pills or something like that. Like he was trying to study for some classes or whatnot, and he was becoming addicted to them, or he was popping them, or I can't remember if it was him or Carlton, but I think Carl he took taking him the blame.
Got addicted to him.
Yeah, or it's like somebody took the blame to cover up for Will or something like that, and his father wound up finding out, and I don't know, but I just remember it just being a really cool storyline and just really heartfelt. So there definitely are great drama moments when it comes to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the original. So to be able to kind of tap from that, Stuart, I think you're absolutely right. I think that there is a part of that sitcom that definitely dived into that, and that can really grow in this drama series. But let me ask you, Stuart, Indy, excuse me, when you hear this news, what other shows do you think this will feel like for the viewer when they check it out, considering that this is now turned into more of a drama? And since you did get the opportunity to check out the video that did go viral, what are your thoughts of it? And now that it's grown into this, are you thrilled to see Jabari Banks finally cast in this role?
I'll start with the video. The video is about 3 minutes long. It's just a trailer of his imagining of what a dramatic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air would be, and the trailer is amazing. Like it really shows you, because to me there was really dramatic scenes. There were real scenes, especially with the iconic scene of why doesn't my dad want me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As he in Uncle Phil's arms, that people can really relate to. This just made it take to similar, I want to say, crap, I can't remember. I want to say it feels to me kind of like All American. If you brought this to something like the CW,
right,
where it's more dramatized, it could still be fun, you know what I'm saying, but it's there to teach you a lesson, to relate to you in a world that, you know what I'm saying, you come from. So I'm looking forward to seeing something like that. The watching Will react because even I think it was last year that the trailer came out, and it was too long after that. Will did a reaction to watching the trailer. And that's when everything started to, you know what I'm saying, spin on into when they announced that, you know, Peacock was going to pick it up. Will was going to executive produce. The guy was going to direct and write who made the trailer. And then they went on their casting thing. So this is one of the things that I was looking forward to. And I'm glad that it's back out, because it's one of those things you see, it piques your interest and then it drops off because there's no news on it. And then this pops up and you're like, yes. And it's like me sitting in a chair, potting, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I get a call and it's somebody like Kevin Smith or Joe Budden telling me, hey, we're going to pick up APlus Hero Report and put it on our platform because we think you guys are amazing. You, Adam, and Stuart are top notch. And we just want to give y'all the chance to, you know what I'm saying, impress the world. We would go nuts.
Thank you, Joe.
We would go nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy for this kid being a Philadelphia native. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith is one of the icons out there for them with everything that he done. They looked up, they want to be just like him. And it just had to be a surreal moment. And I'm just happy that we're getting something like this, because we don't have television like that anymore. You know, like when you're really thinking about it, there's a couple of shows, but there's nothing that affected the climate of where we're from. You know what I'm saying? How we grew up like that did. So I will happily watch this with my nieces and nephews, you know what I'm saying, like with my daughter, in order to show them that, you know, just teach them the same lessons I learned, you know what I'm saying, watching shows like this.
And you do bring up a great point, especially in a more modern time, to have a show like this, modernized, focus on our current climate and things like that. To be able to have something like that on TV now, especially now that it's rebooted in a more drama form, I definitely do think that outreach and the impact that this could really have on just a ton of people is going to be even more incredible than the impact than what the original sitcom wind up having. So I do think this is a perfect time, if any, for this to certainly happen. So congrats to Jabari Banks for certainly landing this role. I'm so much more fascinated in this drama reboot more than I certainly was before. Not that I wasn't, but I just didn't know how this all came together. But now finally seeing it, man, I think this is going to be incredible stuff. But guys, we want to know your thoughts. You hear this? Jabari Banks has landed the role that Will Smith had as the lead for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. Now that you know that it's going to be more drama than sitcom, are you excited to kind of see this rendition of that story certainly being told for a modern day? Definitely go ahead and let us know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And with that, guys, we will go ahead and transition over to another television series, Star Wars Nerds Unite, as we go ahead and make this transition into an upcoming television series that we're going to be getting. I know right now maybe some of the release schedule for Star Wars on Disney Plus is a little bit confusing. When are we getting Mandalorian Season 3? I know is certainly the big question. We definitely have a couple of upcoming spin-off shows that are certainly going to be happening this month, though. Star Wars fans, Star Wars Visions will in fact be dropping this month as well, so certainly look out for that. But one of the shows, guys, that I'm highly anticipating and looking very forward to is the book of Boba Fett, guys. Boba Fett made quite the impact in season 2 of The Mandalorian, an episode that was directed by Robert Rodriguez himself that just brought the visceral violence that you certainly expect from a bounty hunter like Boba Fett himself. After years of just so much mystery surrounding the character that we got introduced to at an early age, and Empire Strikes Back a little bit in Return of the Jedi, to kind of see the returning Boba Fett, and maybe not necessarily even see him in his prime, honestly, guys, but the fact that the man still got it after all these years, after escaping a Sarlacc pit. Incredible stuff in Mandalorian Season 2. And so the idea of the Book of Boba Fett, a limited series spinoff that we're going to be getting later on this year, has me hyped. So much, in fact, that apparently even the hypeness that I have in store for it isn't enough, according to Robert Rodriguez, who opened up this week to kind of give us a little bit of a taste in regards to what this series could potentially be. So if you're looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett, definitely pay attention to this particular article. This comes to us from Collider.com. An exclusive interview with Robert Rodriguez teases the Book of Boba Fett. It's going to blow your mind. I mean, he's not even shy about it. He's not even shy about it. Like, he knows what he has on his hands. It says fans of Mandalorian were given a number of extra treats as the hit Disney show's second season wound down. Not only did Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker appear, and not only did Boba Fett return for his own special episode, but the credit scene at the end of the finale announced that a brand new Star Wars show was coming to Disney Plus, The Book of Boba Fett. Little has been revealed about the Book of Boba Fett since that time, although we do know that the show is executive produced by Robert Rodriguez, who directed the Boba Fett episode in The Mandalorian alongside Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. We also know that Ming-Na Wen reprises her role as Fennec Shand in the Book of Boba Fett. Anything Ming-Na Wen touches deserves your attention. As the story picks up where we last left off at the end of The Mandalorian, as Boba and Fennec operate in the criminal underworld. With Boba Fett set to be released on Disney Plus in December this December, Collider got the opportunity to ask Robert about what fans can expect when he spoke with the filmmaker about his work. I guess he did some work on another upcoming project. But this is what Robert Rodriguez has to say. He says, I can't say anything about it all right now, but it's coming out in December. Wait until you see what's coming. It's going to blow your mind. That's all I can say. I can talk it up all I want because I know it over delivers. It way over delivers. People are going to be so pumped when they see it. So yeah, man, he definitely opens up. And the article also talks a little bit about him having to utilize the special effects techniques that the Mandalorian does on the volume, the big screens that they utilize for special effects to make the characters and actors at least feel like that they're in that particular world without all the big, green screen and blue screen and things like that. Stuart, let me throw this over to you first here, man. Boba Fett, Robert Rodriguez is coming back to direct this limited series here. He says it's not only going to blow your mind, but that it over delivers. And not just over delivers, but way over delivers. Do you think that's big words? That's big words. But considering the fact of what we've seen from Robert Rodriguez, not only in his career, but also what he wind up doing with his limited time with Boba Fett on The Mandalorian, knowing he has a big role in putting this series together, do you believe him? Are you holding back expectations to not to get it too ahead of yourself? Or do you think he might be on to something here? What are your thoughts?
Well, first time I heard the idea of a Boba Fett spinoff show, which was before he debuted within The Mandalorian itself, I thought it sounded like not the best idea, mostly because it just seemed like it would just be a copy and paste of The Mandalorian, and we just have two of the exact same shows going on at the same time. So it didn't seem like a good idea, to my opinion, at first. And then we get his debut episode within the Mandalorian TV show, which was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who's going to be show running the Boba Fett spinoff show. And his introduction alone, not even the whole episode, just his introduction, immediately kind of had me do a complete 180 on my opinion on that, because, you could see just from the way he fights, just his overall, his tone that he goes for. They basically went out of their way to make sure you knew this was not the same character as the Mandalorian, that they are very different in personality and in how they go about, being mercenaries. Well, yes, they're both Mandalorian mercenaries. They definitely have very different ways about themselves that they go about how they do it. And the final nail in the coffin that really hyped me up was that final scene that we got from season 2 with Boba Fett basically taking Jabba's throne on a Tatooine. So kind of the idea that we might be going to a few familiar places, but it won't feel very forced. It won't feel like overly fan servicey. It'll feel like it's going to be there because it makes sense for the story. So after all of that, I actually do think there's a lot of potential behind a Boba Fett spinoff show. I think it's definitely got a lot going for it. And I think with Robert Rodriguez behind it, I think it's going to be something that a lot of fans are really going to love to see with this character. That said, though, all that said, really hyped for it. Man, Robert Rodriguez, if he doesn't deliver, fans are going to be pissed after this interview with him saying it's going to be over-delivering what fans might expect. So, I'm excited, but I hope he's not like in over his head with that quote. Let me just put it that way, because that is quite a confident, statement right there. I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, super confident quotes. I feel like if anybody can pull it off, though, it's definitely Robert. But yeah, I mean, the fact that we do have Favreau and Filoni still attached to this definitely, hopefully, at least gives me some hope that that storyline wise, it's certainly all going to be there. So for me, just the opportunity to see what his style is going to bring to the show is super fascinating to me. But let me pass this over to Indy here real quick. Robert Rodriguez. Big words in regards to the upcoming Boba Fett series. Thinks it's going to over-deliver, way over-deliver, and blow your mind. If you, I believe you might have seen the Boba Fett Mandalorian episode. What did you think of that? And now that you know that he's super hyped for this and is building it up, do you think it'll live up to expectations? Do you think those are dangerous words to put out there, or do you think he might be onto something?
When he puts an episode out like he did when it came to the episode that he directed, you gotta shoot, you gotta aim for the stars. He already over delivered when it came to the way the way that episode was set up. So with the scene at the end, and the actors that you have playing in these roles with the beautiful, amazing Ming-Na, being part of this, because everything she does is perfection. I believe that everywhere he's saying is right, and he might be underselling himself. When it comes to what we've been getting from Star Wars lately, you guys, you know what I'm saying? Now think about this. How many problems have we had when it came to being kind of dismissive of the movies we got with the trilogy, right? Mm-hmm. How much did we praise Mandalorian? You know what I'm saying? Different stuff that came like that. So I really believe that it's going to over deliver to the point that we don't even care about that trilogy anymore, because this is how we're going to want our Star Wars delivered to us from, the immediate future. So I really feel like the ceiling for him, well, the what's it called? The bar for him is set really low, and he doesn't have to do too much, to get over that. So he can say that he's overachieving, or that, he's going to blow our minds, because it's something that we've been waiting on for the past 10 years that we haven't had done.
There's something you said in there, Indy, that did fascinate me. The idea of maybe the bar already being set kind of low, but just the idea of like what he did with the Mandalorian episode, him kind of already going over that bar, if you will, kind of over delivering just sort of in the episode. And it just made me think to myself, like, I kind of do believe he might be onto something here in regards to what he's saying, because of the fact that this is a character that we haven't really seen in action before, right? Like the episode itself that we got in The Mandalorian was truly the first time that we had ever seen Boba Fett really be Boba Fett, so we didn't really know kind of what to expect. And I think because of the fact that this character hasn't really been tapped into at all very much, I don't really know what sort of levels of expectations we as fans might even have on this character as of yet, because we don't know what he's capable of, or what he can certainly do outside of just this one episode. And so for me, the idea of seeing just that in that episode, that's just a tease of, I feel like, of what we could certainly get. So the idea of us going into Book of Boba Fett very much blind, not sure what this character has been up to, not being fully aware of what he's capable of doing even on screen. I almost feel like anything that Boba Fett does in this series is just going to blow people's minds. Like, oh my God, he picked up a cup, guys. Did you see the way he picked up that cup? I think anything that Boba Fett does is just gonna just shock and awe and surprise us, to certainly say the least. But to have somebody like we mentioned, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni to help guide the creative trajectory of it, but then having somebody like a Robert Rodriguez to truly punch you in the face. And I've said this before, with like the visceral violence and the unforgiveness that Boba Fett strikes you with. I think at this point, because we truly don't know anything or too much about this character or what he's been up to for the past 30 years, anything that they reveal to us, anything that they show to us is going to be far exceeding the expectations that I think that we even put on this character. So limited series, bring it to me, Robert. You just continue to get me even more hyped. And again, even though my expectation levels are probably already here from what I've seen, because it's already so limited in what I've seen, I definitely do think that he can certainly up the ante and truly bring the heat here for the book of Boba Fett. And I'm super thrilled. And like you said, Indy, the beautiful Ming-Na Wen being in here just continues to add to great television, if you ask me. So I truly do think that we're in for something special. So keep blowing smoke up our ass, Robert. I don't care what you got to say about this. I'm super pumped for this series, and I think it's going to be something spectacular. Any other words, guys? Any other comments? What's your excitement level right now for this show? December can't get here soon enough.
Scale of 1 to 10, definitely a 10, because I think we all kind of agree on, his introduction episode was, I think, a lot better than any of us expected. So I think, the idea of him having his own spin-off series, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
I may go back and rewatch that episode now.
It's an 8 for me. It's an 8 for me, Adam. It's an 8 because right now Spider-Man rules all.
I get it. December's going to be a packed month, man. It's going to be a packed month. Book of Boba, Spider-Man's going to be out there too. Who knows? We might actually even have ourselves another Marvel series. I think they moved Miss Marvel. I believe they might have moved Miss Marvel to 2022, but we'll see there. But yeah, it should be a good time for Disney and Star Wars fans. So guys, listen, I want to know your thoughts. Robert Rodriguez says this series is going to blow your mind and way over deliver. Do you believe him? Do you think he's just, just talking recklessly? What are your thoughts in regards to the book of Boba Fett? Definitely go ahead and let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. All right. And with that topic out of the way, we got 2 more topics to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode for you guys. So we're going to transition into some Marvel talk. That's right, Marvel fans, get ready, have a seat. Should be some great information for you. When it comes to, we were just talking about Disney Plus and their television series. An upcoming series that we're still waiting on is, in fact, Moon Knight. While we haven't necessarily gotten too many details in regards to the direction of the series itself, Oscar Isaac has been getting in shape for this particular series. There have been videos online of showcasing Oscar Isaac in some fantastic fight choreography. He looks in fantastic shape. He looks like he's not playing around, ready to go ahead and bring the heat when it comes to Moon Knight. And just seeing him in his fight choreography alone has me hyped for this. But if you're here for Moon Knight just for the action, make sure you're aware that when it comes to Oscar Isaac, the acting is very closely right behind it, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get into this particular topic for you guys today, because Ethan Hawke, who's also going to be in this upcoming Moon Knight series, had some fantastic words to say in regards to Oscar Isaac's performance, guys. So let's go ahead and have some Moon talk here. We don't get the opportunity to talk about Moon Knight very often, but so anytime some news drops, we also want to keep you guys up to date in regards to the newest Marvel series that we have. Ethan Hawke calls Oscar Isaac's performance as Moon Knight absolutely phenomenal. And Oscar Isaac's also going to be in the upcoming Dune here, as you can see in the photo that they've decided to go ahead and use. But it says Moon Knight star Ethan Hawke has praised Oscar Isaac's performance in the series. He tells The Wrap, he says, Oscar is giving an absolutely phenomenal performance, and it feels exciting to be a part of it with him, is what the actor told The Wrap. Oscar stars as the main vigilante, also known as Mark Spector, while Ethan Hawke is set to play a mystery character. He also goes on to say, I'm really fortunate because we're dealing with a story that does not have a lot of excess baggage. is what Ethan Hawke said on his experience on the series. If you play Spider-Man or Batman, they've got so much baggage and the audience has such high expectations. It's sort of like playing Hamlet. You can't play it in a vacuum. You're playing in a relationship to the other Hamlets. Whereas with Moon Knight, people don't know too much about it. It doesn't have a lot of baggage. So he says Hawk couldn't give too much away. However, he does say, Marvel is very secretive about it. They like to create a lot of anticipation, but I understand why people love working with them. They're extremely active, friendly. They do good world building and create space for actors. If you want to play, they want you to play. And he also even refers to kind of comic book movies now as the 1950s Westerns, if you will, and the popularity that those Westerns had back in the day. And now that we're in the 2000s, that turns to more Marvel comics and just comic books, pop culture in general sort of thing. So first and foremost, the one thing that I absolutely love hearing from him is I love just the confidence that he continues to give actors when it comes to Marvel. Right. I feel like there's very few actors out there that have terrible things to say about Marvel Studios and working with Kevin Feige. The fact that Ethan Hawke, who is such a fantastic actor in his own right, has been a part of some fantastic movies also. The fact that after all his years, he has such high praise for a company like Marvel, that they're fun to work with, that they're friendly and great to work with as an actor, allow you to certainly have fun and have this huge playground and sandbox to kind of play in. It feels like he's making a personal endorsement to future actors like, hey guys, I know that some people probably look at these movies as ridiculous and off the wall. This is your opportunity to truly be an actor and portray a character or just have fun with all these characters that you may not even be familiar with, but they really allow you as an actor to kind of stretch what you're currently capable of doing, sort of thing. So I thought just the idea of high praise from Marvel really does go a long way from somebody like Ethan Hawke. But just talking about Oscar Isaac's performance, I almost at this point, guys, expect nothing less. Oscar is such a fantastic actor in anything that I've seen him in. I absolutely loved him in Ex Machina. I believe he also had a Netflix movie that he was in over the past couple of years ago. I cannot remember what it was, though. I think he was trying to infiltrate the jungles of like Mexico or something like that to rescue somebody. I can't remember what it was. I'm looking forward to seeing Oscar Isaac in Dune, and I continue to be impressed with just Marvel's outreach and being able to get so many incredibly talented actors on board. And the fact that we get to see Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, cannot wait to see it. So I'm pretty sure he absolutely brings a fantastic performance in here. So I'm certainly not going to doubt Ethan Hawke. If anything, it's definitely going to get me excited to see what Oscar brings to the MCU here. But let me go ahead and pass this over to you, Indy, real quick. You hear this, Ethan Hawke having big praise for Oscar Isaac. Are you expecting anything less? What do you think, or what are you expecting from Oscar Isaac here for this series?
I'm expecting Oscar Isaac to do what Oscar Isaac always does and give us an excellent performance of a character who is multidimensional, has a lot of stuff going on. So it'd be really cool to see what actually happens with how he plays his version of the character. And that's one of the most intriguing things about him playing Moon Knight itself. They could have picked anybody in the world, but they picked that man, Oscar Isaac, to do the role. So I'm 110% for it, and it's probably one of my most anticipated series that Marvel's actually going to do. It overtook Hawkeye very quickly, and it overtook She-Hulk very quickly, because Moon Knight is just a character that reminds me of that Spawn essence. You know what I'm saying? A very troubled character that has stuff going on, and I might actually get the live action Spawn series that I wanted. You know what I'm saying, from Moon Knight. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, because when somebody has an amazing track record and you feel like they never fail you just expect them to be excellent. So I have no disapproval for anything that Oscar Isaac is going to bring, and that's why somebody of Ethan Hawke's caliber, who has done a lot of amazing things, you know what I'm saying, and co-signing that, just shows me that Oscar Isaac is doing more of what he always does.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there for sure. Definitely, what you expect from Oscar Isaac, it feels like we're definitely going to be getting for sure. So, and you make a great point. The idea, especially of him being a character like Mark Spector, that is going to be dealing with like split personality disorders or whatever the case may be that he's going to be struggling with. To be able to see Oscar Isaac's range in here, I think is definitely going to be going a really long way. What about you, Stuart? You hear what Ethan Hawke has to say in regards to Oscar Isaac's performance and even just his idea of what it's like to kind of work with Marvel, and the idea of really going into a series with no access baggage. Do you think that'll certainly help somebody like an Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac this series?
Yeah, I actually think him bringing that up was actually a really good point, because a lot of times when it comes to characters like Batman, Joker, and Spider-Man, one of the biggest challenges actors constantly have to face with those is that you want to give a performance that fans of those other adaptations of the characters are going to like, but you also don't want to just straight up copy them, because then that's like another thing that fans are going to call you out on. So there's always that balance you got to find. That's a huge challenge, which is, how do I take some of the elements that people liked from these previous actors that brought something to the role without like straight up copying them. And when you're doing a character like Moon Knight, who has never been done in live action before, all that pressure goes away. We haven't had a live action adaptation of Moon Knight that Oscar Isaac needs to really compare himself to. He can just go in this with a completely fresh slate and not have to worry about like either stepping over someone else's performance or just being outperformed by that other actor. So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense what Ethan Hawke was saying for sure there. And yeah, with Marvel definitely taking care of their actors. I mean, you look at how much a lot of these actors are getting paid, a lot of the benefits that they get from these individual movies. I feel like that's like another reason that they get such a good performance out of them, is because clearly these actors love being a part of Marvel, and it makes it so it's just, I mean, most of them, obviously we now know there's something with Scarlett Johansson, but that seems more like a Disney thing, less of a Marvel thing. But yeah, just in general, just the way they take care of their actors, it makes sense that you end up getting some really good performances out of them in the long run from it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up that idea that there's not that access baggage when it comes to Moon Knight. So it's really the idea of like Oscar Isaac making that character sort of his own, right? Kind of putting his own sort of stamp on the character for the very first time, sort of in live action. So you really can play with how you want to represent sort of this character on screen for the very first time, and not have to worry about, am I doing this right? Am I doing it sort of like this person did or like that person? I'm sure that does kind of release a whole level of stress that they don't have to necessarily worry about. So yeah, man, I think for me, and I love the comparison too, Indy, to Spawn also in here in regards to the Moon Knight character. I do want to see that dark and gritty sort of street level vigilante kind of brought to life. And I think this is a great way to certainly go ahead and introduce him. But yeah, man, big stuff is happening when it comes to Moon Knight. So as we get further information, we'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted. It's been pretty quiet, I feel like, for the most part. Like Ethan Hawke said, they're very much secretive in regards to what they're trying to put together behind the scenes. But this definitely gives me hope, man. So I'm pumped to see it. And Oscar Isaac, if you want to release more fight choreography footage, please do so. Did you guys get a chance to see him in his fight choreography at all?
Crazy.
Not yet, but that's definitely another thing I'm adding to my list.
Yeah, man, his hand-to-hand combat skills look rather impressive. I mean, I don't know what he's how much training he's kind of had in fight choreography before, but it seems as though Oscar Isaac probably picks it up rather quickly. I mean, he looks like he's taking his shit pretty seriously.
I'm all for it. I watched that a couple of times, and it was amazing to me how easy it seemed for him.
It looked for him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so smooth in his movement. So I'm excited, guys. Look, Disney Plus right now, when it comes to their live action series, 3 for 3, if you ask me. And I'm really looking forward to these upcoming series. Again, we've got Hawkeye that's going to be here this upcoming fall. That's supposed to be a little bit Christmassy, if you will, some Christmas aspects to it. So that should be pretty fun. We've got Miss Marvel, She-Hulk coming in, of course, Moon Knight to certainly look forward to also. So yeah, guys, let's keep our fingers crossed that they have a fantastic track record leading into Moon Knight. But we want to know your guys' thoughts. Are you excited for Oscar Isaac, a very talented actor, to go ahead and have bring his representation of a live action Moon Knight to the small screen? Let us know your levels of enthusiasm in the live chat or the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And then last but not least, we've got one last Marvel topic for you guys. And the Russo brothers are back in the news, surprisingly. Was not expecting to see them. It's been quite some time since we've heard from the Russo brothers since Avengers Endgame. They've clearly have wanted to go ahead and do some of their own projects, step away from the MCU after literally handing us at least 4 or 5 fantastic billion-dollar movies under their belt, really helping bring the MCU sort of into this next, or at least wrapping up the Infinity Saga as we know it, as we go into phase 4 here. And it's been some time since the Russo brothers have kind of talked anything Marvel related. You know, they have mentioned the idea that if they were ever to come back to do anything Marvel related, that it would probably be maybe in regards to like a Secret Wars concept or idea that they have always enjoyed as kids since reading the comic books. Whether or not we get ourselves a Secret Wars, we'll definitely have to see. But it definitely seems as though the Russo brothers are interested in at least returning to the MCU in some capacity. But there might be a little bit of a hiccup in the meantime. Let's go ahead and dive into this and just see, do we even really want the Russo brothers back in the MCU? Let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. This is an article from comicbook.com. Let me see if I can go ahead and pull this up here for you. It says that the Russo brothers added impasse to direct another Marvel movie after the current Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. So it seems as though maybe they're a little bit more hesitant than they were prior now. So let's look into this. It says Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit against Marvel Company over the payment for the Black Widow movie rocked Hollywood in a big way after it was announced. Not only did a nasty back and forth take place between the actress's camp and the House of the Mouse, but it also apparently has affected Marvel Studios' ability to bring back talent into the MCU. In a report on the Wall Street Journal about the fallout of Johansson's legal filing, the outlet claims that the uncertainty the lawsuit has created has caused filmmakers Joe and Anthony Russo to think twice about returning for a new Marvel movie. It says with 4 Marvel movies under their belts, The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, the brothers seemingly departed the MCU after directing the biggest movies of all time in the 2019 feature film. The pair have frequently spoken hypothetically about their return for the projects, films like an adaptation of Secret Wars and recasting Wolverine in the MCU have been their benchmarks for coming back. But according to this report, they may not want to if their bottom line is being threatened. So the Wall Street Journal wrote that since the lawsuit has been filed, that the pair hit an impasse in negotiations to return to another Marvel movie, and that the discord between talent and the studio left them unsure how their next movie would be distributed and how they would be paid. The Russos declined to comment on the initial report. So again, the Russo brothers have been very open about wanting to return, maybe having some impact in either a Secret Wars movie, maybe even having some influence when it comes to the mutants of the MCU with the X-Men and Wolverine and things like that in general. But it clearly shows that there's something afoot when it comes to Disney at this particular moment that certainly does have the Russo brothers hesitant at the moment. Let me pass this over to you here, Stu, to you, Indy. I'll go ahead and start with you first. Mm-hmm. You hear this news. Do you feel that they are in the right mindset right now to kind of feel that hesitancy? Do you think Disney would certainly go out of their way to pay or handle the Russo brothers the correct way in order to bring them back? And then the big question, do you even want them to return to the MCU? What are your thoughts in regards to this article in general?
Okay. It's a weird flex for me when it comes to this, because I understand what they're doing. Coming from business and contracts, you want to come from a place of power. So I feel, to me, this feels like a power move to be able to get what they want And when you do that, you have to play that type of game. It might be something where they know they want to come back. It's been some of their biggest paydays was what they did with Marvel. But now that you have this going on, it sets a precedent to where you can demand more. Like, I want to make sure that this isn't going to happen to me. So this is the way it has to happen if you want us to come back. Because I can guarantee you Marvel and Disney want them to come back in some type of aspect when it comes to doing something. We don't know what they want them to do. We know that they just want them to come back and do something. I personally, I don't think it bothers me if the Russo brothers don't come back, because I felt like their movies were more grounded, right? Like grounded, earth-based. Really good movies, amazing stories, but I feel like we're going somewhere else when it comes to where Marvel is headed. I like the horror themes. I like the space themes, the galactic themes they finna do. And I believe there's directors that fit that mold, you know what I'm saying, a little bit better when it goes on. But I don't knock them for what they're doing, in the same way where I may not I have disagreements with Scarlett Johansson and Disney about the way they're doing it, but the way they're handling business is the way you're supposed to handle business to make sure that you get what you want. So I don't knock either side for what they're trying to do. And the Russo brothers are doing exactly what they should do, you know what I'm saying, in this moment, in order to get leverage to get what they need and what they want. So I don't knock either side. Disney, if Disney was an independent, or they was somebody that was just coming up, I might feel some type of way about this, but it's $1 billion company. So I'm not worried about anybody trying to get their money, because in the end, it doesn't hurt Disney at all. But we need to hash out some type of compensation when it does come to streaming, whether it's a little or it's a lot. I'm not looking at you being upset over $50 million when you made 20 million and had jobs on the table. So I don't feel that, because we're not in that tax bracket. So that doesn't affect me the same way that it affects you. But I get what they're doing. Do I want them to do it? It's a toss. If they do it, I know what they're capable of, but I want to see fresh blood. I want to see different takes. Shang-Chi was amazing because it was a new director, you know what I'm saying? Different director, different take on what's going on. We're seeing stuff that we never seen before. And I think if they bring the Russo brothers back to do something, I just feel like it's more of the same. And I feel like we got enough from them and we need something different.
Yeah, I do love the point that you make about really it's the idea of leverage, right? Wanting to make sure that, one, you do have some sort of control over what you're getting at the end of the day. Want to make sure you certainly don't kind of get screwed over. So you certainly want to make sure that you got your I's dotted and certainly your T's crossed, kind of going into negotiations. But you're absolutely right. It definitely very much is sort of like a business move here, certainly on their part. I mean, I definitely get and understand their hesitancy to a certain extent, but the idea of at least, I think the idea of this now being out in the world, that there is some hesitancy there. I do feel like Disney hopefully is going to be very aware of that. Maybe hear even some of the, I don't want to say fan outcry, but maybe just see what some of the fans are certainly saying out there. But I do think that maybe what's happening with Scarlett Johansson, I'm hoping that despite how they're handling that, I feel like we have been hearing reports that they have been renegotiating deals with people in some of the upcoming movies that are going to be going to streaming or to theaters. So I do think that they're maybe learning from some of their lessons and renegotiating things. So I do feel like the Russos will probably get what they want, but Disney will probably always also get what they want also. So I do expect them to eventually kind of work this out in the meantime, because I do think when you have somebody like the Russo brothers that has delivered for you in the past, you don't want to upset them. Like, you truly want to go ahead and keep them around because you know that they can bring out bangers for you if you do decide to go ahead and bring them back. Let me pass this over to you, Stuart. You hear everything Indy's talking about. You hear everything that this article is talking about. Do you understand where the Russo brothers are coming from? Do you expect them to kind of even be back in the MCU? And do you even want to see them back in the MCU in some capacity?
Yeah, I kind of see where they're coming from, but I also do kind of agree with Indy. I think like the whole point of that, statement from them was exactly that. Like, it was a power move because they knew that, by just saying that alone, they can get like the fans out there to kind of rally behind them and, be like, yeah, make sure they're getting paid the right amount and that kind of stuff. But that said, like, it's also, kind of funny just because I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that by the time if they were to come back, their next project would come around. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that, it'd be a very different circumstance. And I don't think they, have to deal with the same stuff that Scarlett's dealing with the Disney Plus release and that kind of stuff. With all that said, my anticipation or my thoughts on them coming back, I'm not necessarily against it. I would be all for it if they came back as producers. I don't really want them to come back, though, as writers or directors, mostly just because, like what Indy was saying, there's a lot more that we're getting from Marvel that feels very new. And I think it's because we're getting all these new directors and new writers that don't quite have the big resume that like other directors and writers out there have. With the Russo brothers, it was kind of the same thing with them when they came on to direct I meant the Winter Soldier, the second Captain America movie, because like even though they had like somewhat of a resume, it wasn't exactly huge. Like that was their first like big budget blockbuster movie that they filmed, and they did an amazing job at it. And I think that's what Marvel's done such a good job at doing, is giving like new young directors like a really big opportunity. So I kind of want that to be what Marvel continues to do going forward. So I feel like bringing back directors like the Russo brothers would be a little bit of a step backwards for Marvel. So that's why I don't necessarily want them back as directors, but at the same time, they clearly love Marvel and they love comic books and they love the stories that Marvel is bringing to the television screen and to the obviously to the big screen as well. So I do think them coming back as producers would be a very smart move on Marvel if that's something that they'd be interested in.
Yeah, great points. I think you guys make some really fantastic points, especially with the idea of there being so much fresh talent out there, that as Marvel fans, we're finally being exposed to, whether that be, I mean, look, we're being exposed to a lot of these new writers and directors just based off of the Marvel Disney Plus series that we're getting, right? Like somebody like a Michael Waldron who wind up doing Loki. He's going to be tackling Doctor Strange here. We have, Malcolm Spellman, who wrote for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now going on to a big feature film himself for Captain America 4. So a lot of fresh sort of faces and talent being brought into the MCU that really does make this feel significantly different in regards to phases than what we wind up getting in the Infinity Saga. So let me say this real quick. I'm all for brand new talent. Absolutely. I think the fact that we're getting some of these big movies, Shang-Chi, right? Like Destin Daniel Cretton, the writer and director of that movie, blew it out of the water. I want to see this man tackle other content and other Marvel properties, whether that even be a Shang-Chi sequel or other characters, whatever the case may be. I mean, goodness, we got Chloe Zhao, who's going to be doing the Eternals upcoming here. She just got nominated. If not, I think she actually won an Oscar for Nomadland, the movie that she just recently did also. So some incredible talent that's going to be bringing just a whole new vision of how the MCU certainly tells their stories going forward. This does feel like the time for fresh creators. So I'm all for that happening. But there's nothing like an Infinity War and Endgame movie. Am I right? I mean, listen, what the Russo brothers were capable of doing, and I will say this, I don't necessarily need them to come back and start doing 4, 5 brand new movies for Marvel. I just need you to do one. I just need you to do either the next big Avengers movie. Like the fact that these guys were able to have such great success with a huge ensemble of characters. And while I know, Indy, you mentioned the idea that they gave us some really great grounded sort of storytelling. I mean, these guys did deal with Infinity Stones and time traveling and magic and Asgardians and things like that and Titans, right? Like, so while there is a level of groundedness to it, they do know how to handle huge cast members, big egos all in one, still be able to tell really compelling stories. It's a reason why these movies are billion-dollar winners and why the MCU continues to thrive as much as it certainly has. So while I'm all for fresh faces, let's line them up, guys. Let's get some brand new solo films. Let's even get some event films in there if we certainly want to. But if we're leading to an Avengers movie, I'm going to need the big guns. And the big guns for me is certainly the Russo brothers in that capacity, because I know what they can do. I know that they have a great handling of a ton of characters on screen. And I think if you need somebody to kind of rein in all these storylines and give us a big blockbuster comic book movie that we truly need, after everybody in these brand new fresh talent have created these great new characters, it's like bringing in a relief pitcher at the end of the ninth. You know what I'm saying? When you need to go ahead and finish off this game, make sure that you win. Give me the Russo brothers any day of the week. Again, not taking anything away from the amazing talent that we have. I'm sure any of these people, well, maybe I don't want to say anybody. I don't want to say anybody can do what the Russos did with the Avengers movie, but we've got some fucking talent in the MCU. No joke. So I definitely don't want to take anything away from them. But yeah, if I need to hit a home run, if I need a new Avengers movie, give me the Russo brothers. But that's just me. That's just me, guys. But I would love to see it. If they don't come back, that's cool. And listen, we don't even necessarily have to go the route of an Avengers movie. Maybe just give me an X-Men film or even a Wolverine film by one of these guys, right? Maybe a little bit more separate from the MCU. I would take that also. So I think we can have our cake and eat it too, fellas. I think we can get new talent and credible talent also. Hands up, Indy.
Hands up. You don't have to attack me, Mr. APlus. I'm good. I'm good. He dropping F-bombs over here. He's serious about what he's saying. Now, so I'm guessing you don't want the Jordan Peele-led X-Men movie.
If it's it depends on what it is. If it's up Jordan Peele's, like, I've seen him do great horror films, you know, great suspense and thriller stuff. Can he do a comic book movie? I don't know. I'm pretty sure he probably can. He's freaking Jordan Peele, extremely talented guy. I don't know if I would want to see him do an X-Men movie, though. Depends on the character. Depends on the character, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, what if they just remade New Mutants, but had him write and directed? So
give it to me.
You know, New Mutants, the good version.
I actually didn't mind the New Mutants movie. I actually thought it was decently okay. I enjoyed it. I watched it twice.
It was dated. That's what happened to that movie. It was dated.
I can see that.
And it just, if it would have came out when it's supposed to come out, it probably been better. But after all the anticipation, you're like, and this is the cut we ended. There's a director's cut of that movie somewhere that's better than what we.
I was actually going to say that, like, it's funny because I feel like there is a good movie in there, but it feels like we got way too much cut from the film, so it didn't really give me enough to like care about what was going on because it was so rushed. You know, it felt like, you know how like when you're watching a movie on television and sometimes they have to speed up certain scenes in order to make sure it hits that commercial break on time. That it felt like they did that the entire movie. Like every scene was cut way too early. A lot of scenes felt like they were sped up slightly in order to like make it go by fast, able to care about anything.
Would you prefer to see the Russo brothers in more Avengers Marvel or
Battleworld?
Okay, I was gonna say, or would you like to see more like Mutants MCU?
I want the Battleworld after Secret Wars, if they decide to do this, because that would be
we don't even know if they're going to do.
We don't have any X-Men, we don't have any Fantastic Four, we don't have none of that yet. You know, so to condense the world back into something that's going to be. But to be totally honest with you, you know who I want on writing that movie is somebody needs to go throw money at Jonathan Hickman and be like, it's time to reset everything. Throw money at him, come write our movie, and then let the Russos produce it. And you know what I'm saying? That's the type of dynamic that I want when it comes to that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them back. I just feel like I don't know if I would want them I know I want them producing some of the shows on Disney Plus. Like especially if they're going to tie into what's going on. And then when it comes to the big event movie, I want them at the helm of that, like you said. Bring in the relief pitcher, let them go ahead and set the game out, let them keep the no-hitter going. But I do want a lot of new talent set up in order to build the future of what this is going to be. And we'll see how all that's going to shake up, because like I remember them saying, and this is what confuses me about lawyers. Scar, to me, I feel like Johansson was set up to be a Disney dime for, you know what I'm saying, the rest of her career.
Yeah, Black Widow's about to be a Disney princess, bro.
Yeah, and if you wanna produce this, you can come on as producer. If you want to come direct, there's a lot of stuff over here that you can do. We got a lot of female-led stuff that we would love to get you involved in behind the scenes. And I just feel that was her lawyers, because they get paid from what's going on, and they're maybe like, hey, hold on. There's 50 million on the table, like 10% of that is ours. You know what I'm saying? and they get everything ramped up. But I understand how she feels. Money left on the table. She was 20 million short of hitting a $50 million bonus, and Disney Plus got 20 million. When it comes down to it, if they didn't put it on Disney Plus, do they get that 20 million from the theaters? Because they opened in a lot of theaters.
They did. And I think
still didn't hit it.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how Shang-Chi performs, since it will get a second viewing in the theaters after that second week. Like, will it be as much of a drop off as, say, Black Widow did, because the replay value was on Disney Plus, not so much in theaters? So I think how Shang-Chi performs might give them an idea, like, was there more money left on the table, not necessarily letting it be exclusive to theaters. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be a good, interesting experiment, as he called it, to see.
Shang-Chi, to me too, didn't have a Disney Plus show running at the same time the movie came out. Like it was by itself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing else going around it. So it was, to me, it was different circumstances, and it wasn't a movie that was pushed back in a similar, like it was pushed back, but not the same way Black Widow was.
Right.
So I feel like they went up against different things. I don't know what happened, because it didn't happen. So we don't know if that 20 million would have came in the theater, but worldwide, this is what you bring in. I don't know what's going to go, but I feel like taking that out of the people, there's people out here, there's a pandemic going on. There's people that don't want to take their kids to theaters. Like Stuart said, let me see a vaccination card. You know what I'm saying? Put a mask on. You know what I'm saying? All this. Do you want to put your kids through that to go see a movie? Do you want to go through that to go see a movie? I feel like putting as many eyes in front of the product that you want to see should be good for you, because the consensus was it was a good movie. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they would have made enough, like, here. I honestly feel like Disney would have broke off with something like, here you go. Thank you for being you. If this wouldn't have happened, it would have just been something happening behind the doors. Should have got cherished. And at the same time, you're promoting it too, man. The whole time. And I just want everybody happy so we can get back on track, because and sometimes some of this I feel like is just kicked up dust to keep us entertained by what's going on with Marvel. And Disney, like they doing this themselves because they don't have nothing going on right now. Oh, this is going on. How is that going to work out? Here comes the next movie. Let's see, because to me, it promoted Shang-Chi more with everything that was going on. How is Shang-Chi going to perform? Like, all publicity is good publicity, and I feel like it's all masked in order to push stuff forward. So
yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like all publicity is good publicity. But yeah, Stuart, let me go back to you here real quick. I mean, do you think there's a world where we can have our cake and eat it too? Fresh creators building this up to an idea of Russo's coming back for just like event films only?
Yeah, because, even though I know this is going to sound like I'm contradicting what I said, even though, like, I personally don't necessarily need the Russo brothers back, I wouldn't be mad at all if they did come back. I do think that it would be for a good purpose, and whatever they do, I know that they'd be amazing at it. So, and what good that does for Marvel Disney is that if they, show up, they do, like, let's say the next Avengers movie, and it becomes another, huge $1 billion hit. That $1 billion, is what helps fund other movies and what lets Marvel take bigger risks later on going forward, because they're like, hey, let's give this new director this movie to do. And even if it somehow ends up being a flop, well, we still got all this money that we made from the previous Avengers movies. And I think it's so cool, because now they're at this point where they can actually take even more risks, and somehow, these risks continue to pay off. Like with Shang-Chi, for example, from this opening box office weekend alone, I think it's safe to say that it's going to do really good in theaters. So maybe not as good as it would do if it wasn't for the pandemic, obviously, but still it's going to do really good, which lets them know that, hey, now we can start even taking more risks going forward too. So I think that's what it all kind of comes down to. If you have to have a safe bet every now and then by having a director like Sam Raimi for the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, or the Russo brothers for another Avengers movie, in the long run, it just means more opportunities for other people too.
Yeah, I definitely feel it feels like consensus here is very much like, while we don't necessarily need the Russos to come back because we have so much great talent, if they were to come back, we would at least be open to the idea of them maybe doing something that big. What were you thinking, Indy?
I got a perfect comparison for you, right? We go all year leading up to WrestleMania, right? We let all the new talent, you know what I'm saying, all your favorites hold it down, and then when it comes to WrestleMania, here comes The Rock, here comes Brock Lesnar, here comes you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the big show, that's when you bring out the big guns to make sure you put butts in seats, and it's the same exact thing. So when it comes to the big event or something you want to launch, bring them back in some, you know what I'm saying, in some type of comparison, and let it go.
That's a good point too. In launching things too, you could utilize them more as a launching off point for something else. Marcelino says they could do a Thunderbolts movie. That would be pretty interesting. I'd be open for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, guys, we want to know your thoughts. It seems as though the Russo brothers are thinking about possibly making a return. They're kind of hesitant right now until they figure out what's going on with the Disney and Scarlet stuff, wanting to make sure that they're personally covered before they embark on yet another Marvel journey. But the questions for you guys: one, would you love to see the Russo brothers come back? And two, do you feel that there's even a need to come back with some of the fresh talent and some of the fresh faces that we're seeing right now take off when it comes to Phase 4? Definitely would love to know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, that will officially wrap all of our topics here today. We ran a little bit long today just because of the fact that I think the Fandome stuff, we had so much to talk about in regards to the content. Yeah, so much content to go ahead and break down in regards to our anticipation level. But we will be getting into your guys' live viewer questions right now. We've got about maybe 5 emails or so, maybe 4 or 5 emails to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive into it, guys. All right, Jessica Friedman's coming through with her question. Thank you very much, Jessica. Do you think we will see Supergirl again after she hangs up her cape? And when do you think we will get a trailer for Young Justice Season 4 and Harley Quinn Season 3? Well, to answer your question, for the last 2, Young Justice Season 4 and Harley Quinn, DC Fandome is the big day. DC Fandome is the big day. We're definitely going to get an exclusive look at both of those. But do you guys think Supergirl will come back again to wear the cape, or do you think Melissa Benoist has hung it up for good after this?
I think The Flash Season 8, one of the opening 5 episodes, we might see her back. So after that, I don't know.
Is she scheduled? Was she on the list?
She wasn't on the list, but that's something I think they want to keep a surprise.
Yeah. Okay. I think if she is going to show up in it, they're going to try really hard to make it a surprise appearance. And, you know, if we find out, it'll only be because Canada Graphs took a behind the scenes photo.
Like they're doing everything else right now.
Yeah. I wonder if they now specifically have protocols for people that are taking photos of the sets. They're okay, we got to make sure, for Supergirl, all her scenes are done indoors. So no one can spoil this for anyone.
Or they're they sit there and they be like, look, you can take pictures of this. Cameras up when we get ready to do this. So unless you leak this, you can't leak this. Okay, cool.
But yeah, that all said though, it's weird because I almost was under the assumption that was kind of a thing that was going to be for sure, because I know that once Supergirl ends, she's actually going to become a producer for the CW. She's I'm not sure if she has any specific shows that she's producing that are going to be coming out soon, but I know that she does have a bigger position now after season 6 of Supergirl. But according to a podcast that I listened to called The After Party with Erickson and Pagey, the two of them are pretty sure that Melissa is very much done with Supergirl, so it doesn't seem like she's interested in coming back for the role anytime soon. So I'm not too sure, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. I mean, I know she loves the character. I mean, granted, she has been doing this for 6 seasons, so I'm sure there's other things that she probably wants to do in her career and kind of move on a little bit. But I guess I was always under the impression that when it comes to Melissa Benoist, it was a character that she really holds true to herself. You know what I mean? That she truly enjoys kind of playing, the effect that, you know, the impact that she has on young girls out there in the world. I think she understands the importance of who being Supergirl sort of is. And I think the idea of like, even like Stephen Amell, who left Arrow, you know, thinking that his time was completely done with the character. But then he was quick to tell Greg Berlanti, hey, with COVID, if you need a backup, I'm here to return as Arrow for you guys. And then you just mentioned the idea that he'd be open to an Arrow limited series on like HBO Max or whatever the case be, or a streaming service. So I think the idea of, yes, I think it's great that Melissa's stepping away. But I think the idea of playing that character, at least I'm hoping, I don't know her personally, I haven't talked to her, but it is one of those things. I think she knows the importance of the character. So if they ever do need a Supergirl to return, whatever the case may be, crossover or ratings boost, I do think that she'd be open to it. So I'm not going to say never say never. And that's what we said when Stephen Amell left. Never say never, Stephen. You never know what your career trajectory might be, and they might need you back, and you might want to come back. So I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance. Let's see here. Marcelino Vasquez has a couple of questions. Which soup that isn't a member of the 7 from The Boys do you wish got more to do than what they were given? If you need examples, we had Blind Spot, Ezekiel, Shockwave, Lamplighter, Translucent, Popclaw, and Eagle the Archer. I probably actually want to see Eagle the Archer a little bit more from after season 2. I'm interested in them, and I wouldn't even mind a little bit more Lamplighter. I was a little bit let down by Lamplighter. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of it. But I would probably take Eagle the Archer, probably maybe just for comedy purposes too.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the same answer, mostly with the Eagle, or sorry, with a Lamplighter, just a little bit more, just because, yeah, even though I thought he was really good in like, what was he in, like 1 or 2 episodes at the most, like I thought he was good in those episodes, but it's like weird because he was such a huge, like, talked about character within the context of the show from all the characters. So it was weird that like when we finally do actually see him and they finally get like an actor to play him, he's like there for such a short amount of time. So it would have been kind of cool to get a little bit more from him.
For me, it'd been Translucent. Character's gone too quick. I just feel like there was a lot more they could have did with the character itself, and his temperament and attitude to me had a lot of conflicts with what was going on. You know what I'm saying? It made the show a lot more interesting between people.
And I think the way he died, I think definitely gave more credence to the idea of Ant-Man up Thanos's butthole. Definitely could have worked. He also says there is some division, not controversy, when it comes to Star Wars Legends. The majority of fandom is in agreement that Legends was once canon before Disney resetted everything, but there are some fans who believe that Legends was never canon. Which is it? Never canon.
I mean,
never canon.
Okay. It's weird. It depends on how you want to categorize canon and continuity as two different things. Because if we're talking about canon, technically everything it's canon in its own world. When we're talking about continuity, yeah, I always saw like each Legends material just being in continuity, like in its own world. You know what I mean? It's hard to say for sure, though, just because a lot of Legends tends to contradict each other. So it's really hard to say, like, you could see all of Star Wars Legends always taking place in the same world. But, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, hey, if you like the Thrawn trilogy, for example, there's nothing wrong with saying in your head canon or your head continuity that everything pre-Thrawn trilogy is totally canon, like such as the Star Wars trilogy, the prequels, and the Star Wars, the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebel series, despite the fact that most of those didn't exist when the Thrawn trilogy was written. I don't think there's anything wrong in kind of seeing it as in continuity. You know what I mean? It's just when you get to the things that take place afterwards, then that's when you're like, okay, you can't really see this as being part of that same continuity, but you can see like other expanded universe parts being in continuity with it. So yeah, it's like it really just kind of depends on how you choose to look at the continuity and canon of the Star Wars lore, really.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying there. I think for me, it really lands on sort of George Lucas. at the end of the day, you know, in regards to his ideas here. There are a couple quotes here from George Lucas back in August 2005. He says there are two worlds here. There's my world, which is the movies. There's this other world that has been created, which I say is the parallel universe, the licensing world of the books, games, and comic books. That was in 2001. And then he says in 2005, I don't read that stuff. I haven't read any of the novels. I don't know anything about that world. There's a different world than my world. But I do try and keep it consistent. The way I do now is that they have Star Wars Encyclopedia. So if I come up with a name or something else, I look it up and see if it's already been used. When I said other people could make their own Star Wars story, we decided that, like Star Trek, we would have two universes, my universes, and then this other one. They try and make their own universe as consistent with mine as possible. But obviously, they get enthusiastic and want to go off in their own direction, sort of thing. So I mean, when I used to read Legends, like you said, maybe very much my own headcanon. Like I wanted to believe this is the direction that these characters go, right? Like I loved Jaina Solo. Like I'm not harping against the great novels and stories and characters that came out of Legends. I absolutely love them to the point to where I want to see them even reintroduced sort of into this new canon. So the fact that just George Lucas read the Star Wars novels that we have now, I probably highly doubt it. But the fact that it's owned by Disney and they have said these books are now canon and the other ones aren't any longer, I mean, that's just how I've kind of viewed them. But even reading Legends, while I know that this was never truly George Lucas's direction, there was a part, like you said, with headcanon that, yeah, I've always wanted them to be, but I always was under the impression that maybe if they ever did make a film, that they may not use some of these characters or might take liberties to kind of change things around. So yeah, when I think of Star Wars Legends, I always say non-canon now at this point, but I understand the mindset.
But that said, the comics that I never saw as canon, even though they would borrow elements from other expanded universe, the Star Wars Tales comics, did you guys ever read those?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Like those was like some really interesting like anthology comic books. I never saw them as canon because there would be like a lot of stories that would contradict the movies themselves, but they were definitely always like a really fun read for sure.
Let me see here. This is there was an official press release when they decanonized the extended universe. It says in the official release, at no point does the phrase "the expanded universe is no longer canonical" ever appear. On the contrary, the only reference to the expanded universe prior's canon status was that it never held canonical weight in the first place. They said, while Lucasfilm always strives to keep the stories created for the EU consistent with our films and television content, as well as internal consistent, Lucas always made it clear that he's not beholden to the EU. He set the films he created as the canon. This includes the 6 Star Wars episodes and many hours of content that he wind up sort of developing.
The Christmas special?
That might be erased from their memory, type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess I've always under the impression that, yeah, I mean, they probably never looked at it so much as canon per se. So if anything, yeah, I would probably say non-canon, but I get the pushback that some fans have. He says, I know this won't happen. I just wanted to let you know. I saw some fan art of Sasha Calle and Leslie Grace as Supergirl and Batgirl, but Sasha Calle had blonde hair and blue eye contacts, and Leslie Grace had red hair, and I believe both were depicted as having some pale skin. But what do you think? I mean, were they really then renditions of Sasha Calle and Batgirl or Leslie Grace?
It sounds like what Joss Whedon was trying to do with Iris West during that one scene that almost made it into his cut of Justice League, but then they decided just to get rid of it altogether.
For real.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that photo before. So I
haven't seen it before either. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I'll have to try and hunt it down somewhere. Dino AJ, he's got a couple questions for us, guys. A lot of Flash stuff here. With the Flash Season 8 5-part crossover, do you think Barry and others will already learn that Kate is no longer Batwoman and has a different face, especially with them meeting Ryan Wilder for the first time?
I mean, I would assume they know because even in Batwoman's show, like they make articles and there's news reports about how it's not the same Batwoman, So I'm pretty sure either that or just Team Flash does not keep up with the news at all.
Nah, they got what's his name? Clifford,
I think maybe.
Curtis. They got Curtis. They should know everything that's happening though, because he's like a walking newspaper of superhero news. So if they don't know, they're not doing that character justice.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. In the Flash season 8 crossover, do you think Mia is still dealing with William's kidnapping, unless Crisis changed everything that went on in 2049, which also thought we would, which we all thought we would get to see in Green Arrows and the Canary spinoff. And how do you think Jefferson Pierce gets summoned to be in the first place? Yeah, I will be interested to see how the Mia Smoke stuff is handled, considering the fact that they literally went to 2040. So I'm wondering if it's a case of time traveling again by Barry, maybe bringing Mia back into the present. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to play up that storyline here.
I think it's going to go with his kids. I think it's going to have something to do with I'm hoping it has something to do with his kids, and I'm hoping it's something where Mia Queen works with his kids. Like they have some type of team or something going on in the future, because that's cool. The way in my head, at least the canon that I have in my head, is that when Oliver fixed everything, that friggin' what's that called? That episode that we got, the spinoff prequel, whatever it is, the
pilot?
The pilot episode we got for that was totally reset. And that didn't happen. Now, I do believe there's something else going on, and it's a different future, and she still becomes, Green Arrow. But it's just about, does she still know everything, that she knew beforehand?
Yeah, I think I was gonna say maybe she will. Was she wasn't what do they call him? The para?
She wasn't one Paragon, of the Paragons, but she ended up
the Special 7 that they had.
Yeah, she ended up getting the what was it? The shot or whatever it was that she took that ended up bringing her memories back. That's right. She had that happen to her, because I was like, I don't remember her being one of the 7 that would remember everything. But you're right. Was it Black Siren, I think, injected her against her will to help her remember everything. So she definitely will. How Black Lightning is going to fit into this, I'm not quite sure. I mean, we saw briefly in the last season of Black Lightning, he made a stop over to Central City in between a commercial break and came back with whatever he needed. So we know that he's traveled to Central City before. I am curious as to how he kind of comes into play. I'm super thankful that Black Lightning is returning, at least for another episode. Any ideas you guys want to take shots at as to how he might come back?
I mean, I think it's just going to be for him specifically, Barry calling him up on a cell phone and being like, hey, can you come to Central City?
Super uneventful, right? Like, hey, buddy.
The only one that's going to be really interesting, well, actually, kind of the two that are going to be interesting for me is Mia Queen, because, like AJ asked in the question, like whether or not they're going to like address the ending of that first episode. My theory is that it's going to be kind of slight retcon. Like, I don't think it'll be like the episode never happened. I think they're going to change what their initial intention was for him being kidnapped to tying it into the crossover event. So having it be that it actually turns out to be tied into this just because they can't really produce the series. So you might as well give it closure in some other way. But then the other one,
maybe he is still kidnapped, and they pick her up in the middle of like a mission that she's on or something like that, trying to get her brother back.
That'd be kind of cool too. But the one that I'm really curious about too is Batwoman, because no one knows anyone from Batwoman except for Diggle meeting Luke Fox that one time. But Diggle's not even announced to be in this crossover, so I'm really curious how they go about getting Batwoman to help them out for this.
When they went to go get Batwoman, it was in the episode, was that Oliver? I can't remember who went with them.
No, it was what's her face? Diggle's wife that went to recruit Batwoman in Crisis.
Yeah, so it's people that know, but it was before they met before that, but that was Kate Kane.
Yeah, exactly.
When they met, well, still Kate Kane in Crisis, but when the first time they met, when she had her like before Batwoman was a series, when they had premiere and she was just there for some apparent reason. That was Flash and that was Barry and Oliver that met her. That had to deal with, was that the body switch when they switched bodies?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Elseworlds.
Yeah, that was Elseworld. So Barry does know of Batwoman. I just don't know if he knows that, it's not the same person right now. Which again,
that's what I mean. Is like none of them know Javicia Leslie's Batwoman. So I'm curious how they go about getting her to join their fight.
Come on, man. Curtis has internet. I mean, they got ties. They've dealt with Argus. You know what I'm saying? Cisco's part of Argus right now. I know Argus has that intel. They should know. If they don't know, that's like a horrible storytelling.
Yeah, they're not doing their job. For me, this is the crossover that I definitely would love to have Melissa Benoist back, just because of what they built with the world's finest duo and Supergirl and Batwoman, just based off of her relationship with Kate Kane and the stuff that they've been through so far. I really would like to see her perspective on the idea of Javicia Leslie now taking over, Ryan Wilder now taking over as Batwoman. I definitely would love to see how she reacts to that.
Yeah. I want to see Barry's reaction, because I need closure with Barry, and what I'm saying, Kara, because they started, the whole Supergirl thing. I need her to tell him what's going on, everything that happened. I want to see that, because as soon as Batwoman came, it's like they forgot that friggin' Flash and Supergirl even had a friggin' relationship with each other. They had crossovers together where they were singing and musicals and stuff like that. That friendship never existed after that.
I definitely want to see Black Lightning meeting Batwoman too for the first time. Just seeing another black superhero, I think would be really cool for him. I'm wondering if he takes a selfie with her just to bring back to his kids and be like, look at these other superhero women out here, man, to help inspire Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Diggle wouldn't have met Javicia's character, because I would have loved him to just be like, well, it was like, Barry, did you do this? Because Batwoman used to be white.
White. This is probably all Barry's fault, right? Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And then AJ's last question says, with DC Fandom coming this year, what are some of your favorite memories or reveals from last year's DC Fandom? And do you think maybe we'll get some sneak peeks at the Flash movie and the Batman? So yes, to the later half of your question, we definitely will. They've confirmed sneak peeks at the Flash movie along with a brand new trailer for the Batman. So that's definitely coming. Any favorite moments or reveals from last year at DC Fandom that jumped out to you guys?
For me, it had to be Gotham Knights and the gameplay, because I was expecting games to be announced. I wasn't expecting that lengthy gameplay reveal we got from Gotham Knights, because that storyline is very interesting. I'm hoping we get gameplay, like Stuart said, for the Suicide Squad game, because I'm interested in seeing how that plays. So for me, it's more games. I want to see if they announce anything else coming out. Because that's a world you can play in, especially with Marvel doing a XCOM style game, which really has me very interested in that. I'm looking to see what DC does more in the video game realm.
How about you, Stuart? Anything, any fan favorite memories or anything that jumped out at you?
From last year, man, well, I want to say maybe it was some of the concept art that we got for the upcoming Flash movie. I remember being really hyped about that. Like, they revealed the new costume, what it would look like, and then they also showed Michael Keaton in the suit, with some really awesome fan art. That was really cool.
That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting to see the concept art there. I think for me, actually, one of the panel that really always jumps out at me when I think of DC Fandom last year was probably the Walter Hamada panel with him and Jim Lee and things like that, where they, for the first time in a long time, that panel really gave me hope for Warner Brothers and its future. The direction in which it was going, the idea of them really talking openly about them wanting to explore the multiverse and stuff. It felt very much like they had a sense of a plan and how they wanted to kind of execute kind of things. And I think it was just a great sort of insight into how Warner Brothers was handling things, and really also the idea of just new management in general, and just seeing their perspective and points of view of how they want to tackle the expanded universe and things like that. So for me, that was actually a big takeaway from DC Fandom that I really appreciated, just giving me a little bit more hope that Warner Brothers is going in the right direction. Let's see. Doomsday's got a couple of questions in here. Looks like it's Black Panther questions. Can you believe it's been over a year since the untimely demise of Chadwick Boseman? On a scale of 1 to 100, how sad were you that the King of Wakanda passed away last year? I don't necessarily want to put a number to the scale of my feelings in regards to that, but impactful, man. Just super impactful and super sad. It was just one of those things, like, you knew the impact that Chadwick Boseman had on the world, especially after Black Panther. But I think what even made it, I don't even just want to say if it even made it even more sad, but I think it just sort of added to the legend of Chadwick Boseman, is learning that homeboy was doing these movies knowing that he had cancer. You know, like knowing that he was struggling and dealing with pain on a freaking daily basis, and yet still had his priorities focused on being able to not only pull out great performances and create great material, but material that would speak to just cultures for a lifetime, you know, that would have impact on our culture. That I think just shows you the type of character that Chadwick Boseman had. So when learning of his passing, especially at such a young age, knowing what he was doing and capable of, and the growth that he was set to go ahead and bring to this world, super heartbreaking, man. Super heartbreaking.
I can put a number scale to it, and I think it's a very appropriate number scale to it. And all I'm going to say on this matter is I love you 3000.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I think it was also, like, for me, like, one of those things where, you know, it was sad as it was, like, just hearing the news initially, but then also, like, a little bit after he passed away, that's when suddenly, like, a lot of things that he originally didn't want, like, coming out to the public, came out to the public, about, like, a lot of Make-A-Wish Foundation visits that he did. Like, a lot of times when you have these celebrities doing all these Make-A-Wish visits, they're doing it for not trying to say it's only for publicity. I'm sure, like, you know, they also do care about, you know, the kids that they're making a big impact for. So I'm not saying it's, like, purely selfish of most celebrities when they do it. But with him, what was so interesting about it is that he wanted to make sure that the cameras were off. He wanted to make sure that the kids knew that these Make-A-Wish Foundations were personal, and he's not just doing it, you know, to look good in front of the cameras. He's doing it because he actually wanted to be there for those kids in their last moments. You know, for hearing about that kind of stuff, and then seeing him, like, in one interview where he like almost broke down because he was telling a story about how a couple of kids were really looking forward to seeing Black Panther, but unfortunately they passed away before the movie could ever come out. How he just, you know, that, like, totally devastated him inside. You know, it really shows how much of an amazing, like, not just actor, but just human being he was.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Just taken away too soon, man. Unbelievable stuff. What was your favorite Black Panther moment? It can be anything from Captain America 3, Avengers Endgame, any movie that he's popped up in. Do you have a favorite Black Panther moment?
If it's specifically for the character of Black Panther, definitely loved his I want to say, yeah, I'm going to go with his ending moment from Captain America Civil War, with him, like, you know, not refusing to let vengeance consume him the same way it did with Zemo.
That was a good moment. That is a good moment.
To be totally honest with you, I have to go with interactions with Shuri, especially the first interaction we saw on Black Panther. It was just something about that bond that they had as brother and sister, and how it came across as, you know what I'm saying, on screen as that is one of the reasons possibly why Shuri is so popular, you know what I'm saying, among the fandom, because of that relationship between the two of them.
That's a great one. That's a great one. Man, this is a hard question for me. I'm trying to think of all my Black Panther moments from the MCU. I definitely really appreciate just that last sequence between him and Killmonger. After he's killed Killmonger and they're sitting on the mountaintop during the sunset and things like that. I really love their conversation that they wind up having. That was a really great moment. But I also kind of appreciated just him in Civil War. The pushback that he gives to the idea of wanting to avenge his father's death, you know, and hunting down Homeboy in order to try and get it. But you're right, Stuart. The idea of him not wanting to give in to Baron Zemo in that sense and kind of become that villain, I thought was pretty impactful. But I always loved the moments between him and his father and those life lessons that he wound up having to learn. Unfortunately, the really difficult way, and having his father sort of taken away from him also. But yeah, those were always some really great moments. Some great moments.
Even recently, the T'Challa Star-Lord What If episode, and
that was a great one.
Just seeing the effect of T'Challa on the universe, you know what I'm saying, universe was amazing. But like you said, that scene with Killmonger, that speech, you know what I'm saying, that Killmonger gave, you know, the whole bury me in the ocean, you know what I'm saying, with my ancestors who rather jump from ships to be in bondage, like that whole saying. That was so friggin' powerful in that moment, and it is everything about that character is going to live on forever, because that character never had a bad moment. Chadwick Boseman playing that character never had a bad moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Man, all right, guys, heavy stuff, but yeah, that actually wraps up all of our live viewer questions for the day. And he still hasn't made the new opening for APlus Hero Report. Were we supposed to have a new opening?
Well, the thing is, you keep changing the themes. Like every time I write something, you change the theme. I did an APlus opinions, and then we switched to the Hero Report, and then you change the thing, and I'm like, whatever. It'll happen. It'll happen one day, maybe when we like rebrand, or if I don't know if we do seasons, a new season or something like that. Maybe it'll happen.
Hero Report 2.0 or 3.0 or something. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for our live viewer questions today. So thank you very much, guys, for everybody participating, handing out your thoughts, and having some fantastic discussions with us, as you guys always do each and every week. So thank you very much, guys. So going forward, we certainly will be going back live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time, at least during the football fantasy or just football season in general, ladies and gentlemen. So 11 a.m. Central Time, definitely go ahead and make sure that you certainly join us then. But guys, if let's go ahead and with Stuart first. If anybody wants to reach you on social media, sir, where can they find you, Stuart?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01. And of course, you guys can continue to watch my Stargirl reviews here on APlus Hero Report. I'm going to stop promising them coming out on Wednesdays, because my internet, as Adam definitely knows, has been majorly messing up, and it'll be annoying, because some days it'll work totally fine, but then other days it just constantly disconnects. And when you're trying to upload a video onto YouTube and you're having connection issues with it, it becomes a really big problem. So at the very latest, my Stargirl reviews will be Thursday morning, but like early in the morning, or at the very earliest, it'll be like Wednesdays in the afternoon, and that's what I'm going to constantly be aiming for, is Wednesdays afternoon. But yeah, you guys can watch my Stargirl reviews. I've been loving this season so far, and I love talking about it. So the more people that are able to watch that, and just give me their thoughts in the comments below for Stargirl, that would be amazing.
Yeah, man, certainly check out his Stargirl reviews. Season 2 has been working out fantastically well so far, and Stuart always has a fantastic point of view. So definitely go ahead and check out his work here on our channel, APlus Hero Report, whenever you guys get the moment. And then, Indy, if people want to go ahead and reach out to you on social media, where can they find you, man?
First off, before anything, don't worry about this. Clap it up. APlus Adam Perez is gonna be a papa. You know what I'm saying? Clap it up for him. I'm so
Thank
proud.
You guys.
I'm not proud. Like, I don't know if I could be proud. I'm happy. I'm so happy for you for that, man. I can't wait. I already know you finna get a whole box of just onesies and stuff in your mail pretty soon. Watch.
Yeah, we got the spare bedroom in here is growing with diapers and wipes right now.
But, first off, I want to thank the APlus fandom in helping me. I don't know if anybody follows me on Instagram. If you do, at Nerd Mix Alpha, just like it says right there. Thank you. I had 3 singles off my album reach 100,000 views, streams.
Badass,
and
bro.
I can't do that without you guys. So thank you for that. So without further said, Indy Uchiha on all streaming platforms. Check it out. Let's get that to 500,000, and at Nerd Mix Alpha on all social media.
Awesome, Indy. Awesome. Good to hear, man. And then, of course, guys, if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so right here at APlus Opinions. Very active over on Twitter, as well as very active over on our main Facebook page, which if you guys go ahead and check out, we keep updated all week long. That's where we pull our stories from to keep you guys updated here at the end of every weekend. Plus, we post posters, behind the scenes photos, trailers, news, whatever you guys can think of. The Facebook page is certainly the way to go. So definitely follow us there along with us here. Subscribe to us over on our YouTube page. And if you want to check us out on Instagram, you could certainly do so there as well. Again, at APlus Opinions, certainly go ahead and check us out. But until next week, guys, that's going to be it for us. But we'll definitely go ahead and see you next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. So in the meantime, do us a big favor as always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and of course, keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye. If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/APlusOpinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.